what happens off the back of the Spirit loss is a few different things. One, I think it was donk had 4 or 5 maps with a negative KD, right?
Five in a row, yeah.
Yeah, and then you
I
also
think 6 over the land portion.
So obviously an off tournament for donk standards, right? That's the first thing that you have to point out. And then the other factor that people will gravitate towards in the community is Hallie was back, right? And that obviously drew a lot of attention there in terms of Hallie coming back. But I think that when you look at this, we gave the good graces to every team coming into this event that it's the first event of the season. Spirit made the final, where a lot of other teams were eliminated in the online portion and didn't even get close. It wasn't a great looking Spirit, and it does bring, like, people will then look for confirmation bias of, oh, Hallie's back, the utility was worse, or Hallie's back, Twistzz was worse. And that conversation is kind of seeming a bit prevalent at the moment. I think it's too early to judge.
The biggest news roundup, exclusive insights, all delivered to your inbox. Sign up to the HLTV newsletter today.
Today's HLTV Confirmed episode is brought to you by Skins.com. Skins.com has 0% transaction fees, plus a dedicated instant sell feature when you need cash fast. To start trading, just click login, sign in using your preferred method, and sift through the 50,000 plus skins already listed. Not to mention multiple deposit methods including crypto, bank transfer, Apple Pay, and many more. A profitable trade is merely a few clicks away.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Counter-Strike fans across the globe, welcome back to another episode of HLTV Confirmed, brought to you by our lovely sponsors, Skins.com, peer-to-peer. Check them out if you're in the marketplace for some skins. No fees and stake. Remember to gamble responsibly. And if you're watching right now live as of 2 p.m., the 4th of August, 2026, you're watching exclusively on Kick. So welcome to Kick Chat. Welcome to another episode. Gentlemen, I'm going to kind of keep a bit of a tempo this week. We'll see how kind of like boppy we can be. Does anyone want the top of the show? Anyone have an anecdote? Anyone have a story? Anyone have something that they want to get off their chest at the top here before we get underway?
It's people that follow me on my Instagram have seen my my post yesterday, potentially, where I screenshotted my application email for HLTV from 10 years ago.
Okay.
And you know what?
Years.
Woo. It was one of those scary ones. I was
clapping.
like, I know it's around 10 years. Let me see how that looked. And I looked at the email, and it was actually fine. I was scared that it was going to be extremely cringe and bad, but it was a pretty decent email. I think the funniest thing that was inside is my asking salary of 400 to 500 euros for a full-time position.
Inflation, it's a hell of a drug, Prof.
I think the craziest thing is, like, at the time, obviously just like out of college and whatever, wasn't that bad in Croatia. Like you could get by, you know, if you were,
like,
I was living with my
parents, you know,
whatever, parents at the time, you know, pretty decent. That's pretty decent. But like, even for some, like, you know, lower paid jobs in Croatia at the time, you'd probably make less than that. Inflation, euro and everything has changed that massively. I could go fuck myself with that money right now. But yeah. But I also don't earn that money anymore, thankfully. Thanks you to HLTV and all of our lovely partners, including Stake. One of them.
Yeah. All right, no, it's fair enough. Sorry, Lucas? What?
Never mind. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, now.
Just ignore him.
Sometimes I think he's got valuable input, so I just want to check from time to time. Well, we already did the round of applause for Prof 10 years at HLTV. Striker, do you have anything here? Any anecdotes and anything you need to get off your chest?
I mean, people don't see this, but I'm starting to show classic symptoms of a cyclist, because like I went out and I have I don't know if I can.
I see the sleeve. I see the sleeve.
I have like a classic tan sleeve from like a biking thing, because I forgot my like suntan lotion type thing when I was going out, and like instantly burnt, of course. So I look like a typical cyclist from, let's say, my bicep down. I went out to learn how to maintain a bike today, like this morning. So that's how I spent my morning.
All right, the Tour de Striker is locked and loaded in the middle of August, or start of August. I want to let everyone know we will be running Catfish.court again. Such a popular segment, and I think it was so successful last time. So we're going to run it every week, court or catfish. I know the people at home loved it. Now let's get into things. Let's kick things off, shall we? Blast Bounty came to its conclusion over the weekend. We have MOUZ winning on debut with PR in the roster over Spirit in the final. Were you paying close attention to this one, Striker?
Reasonably close. I mean, I was a bit in and out of the final, but then I tried to catch up. So at least for the final, reasonably close. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a 4-mapper. What about you, Prof? Would you say you were paying reasonable attention?
Say I locked in for the grand final as much as possible, even though it was such a dog game in the end. Like, it wasn't really an exciting one. Even though it was an upset, it was kind of I don't know, a slugfest. It was a slug. It was more of just a slug without the festival part.
We were talking about slugging the other day, which is just like covering your face in a lot of Vaseline and just kind of walking around. Do you guys know about the slugging phenomenon?
No.
I've learned it. Yes, I heard it the other day. I didn't realize you put Vaseline on your face and then you just kind of, I don't know what it's for. I imagine it's for your skin. But let's lock in on the final here. As you mentioned, it was a bit of an upset. Do Skinionaire first, because I want to reward people who are here for the start of the show. And it's also going to be questions about the grand final. So there's nothing too crazy in here. I actually think it's pretty easy compared to the last 2 weeks. But who knows? Who knows how this is going to unfold? So everyone who's here nice and early, because we're only 5 minutes into the show, we're going to do Skinionaire right here, right now. So type skinscom in chat right now. That's your raffle ticket. And that's going to enter you into the draw for potentially a $50 skin. We're going to run 5 questions, multiple choice. If they get all 5 correct, this is Prophet Striker. Somebody in chat can win themselves a $50 skin, or they're the value of. All right. Are you ready to get this one underway, gentlemen?
Let's go.
Okay. This is Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire, brought to you by skins.com. Question number 1. Spirit banned Inferno, MOUZ banned what? Cash, Overpass, Dust2, or Anubis?
Anubis.
Not Overpass.
Anubis.
Anubis? You happy with Anubis?
He's so confident. I'm confident as well.
Okay, Prof's co-signing it, locking in Anubis. Correct answer is Anubis. Obviously, Dust2, that was the opening map of the series. MOUZ getting the upset there. Overpass is in the pool, and Cash was 5th in Decider if we needed it, which we didn't. Okay, question number 2. So 1 from 1. Let's see. We're on a good start here. Which map did Spirit win? Dust2, Mirage, Ancient, or Nuke?
Ancient.
Yeah. Map number 3. Yes.
Locking in Ancient. Correct answer is Ancient. That is correct. It looked like they could have started turning the series around, but let things go there on Nuke. Okay. Question number 3. Was Spinx the highest rated player for MOUZ on every map of the final? Yes or no?
Every map of the final. I can't remember if he was on Ancient. He was also up there on Ancient.
All 4 maps. I feel like it must be a yes, otherwise why did he put it in?
Because he was the MVP, and he only got didn't only, but the MVP felt to me, we'll get Striker to explain more later, was off of the grand final performance. It really, his grand final, I'm doing talk, we're doing quiz. We'll do talk after.
Yeah. I would say more likely yes. I think the 3 maps they won for sure. I can't remember if he was on Ancient, but he was also good on Ancient, so I think it is all 4.
So you want to go with yes?
Yes.
Yes. Locking in yes. Correct answer is yes. So on Dust2, he had a 1.91. On Mirage, he had a 1.86. On Ancient, he still had a 1.16 in a losing game that they lost 13-9. And then Nuke, he was 1.41. So he had a phenomenal final.
Fucking game for sure.
It was insane from him. We'll get into that more in a moment. Okay, we've got 2 questions to go. You guys are flying through it right now. 3 from 3. Question number 4. Skins.com. Who wants to be a Skinionaire? Spinx may have won the MVP, but which MOUZ player killed Donk the most? Zelex, PR, or Exertion?
I mean, it would make sense if it was either Zelex or Exertion.
Like the head-to-head.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't.
Exertion wasn't doing that hot for a lot of it, but I don't remember. No, don't know.
I would go with Zelex.
I would go between those 2, but I'm not sure.
Let's go with Zelix.
Locking in A, Zelix. Correct answer is Zelix, gentlemen. You're walking through the darkness right now and you're doing well. In the grand final, Zelix killed donk 19 times. Donk killed Zelix 14 times.
Okay.
So they
was
had
that like one of the most active head-to-heads?
Yes, by far. One of the most active head-to-heads, for sure, in that final. Okay. Question number 5. This is for all the marbles. This is for the burrito. I was going to say enchilada. But anyway, hot tamale. Let's go. On the train. Which player had the most opening kills in the grand final? Was it donk or Spinx?
This is such a curveball, man. I actually don't know.
Well, like donk still had a positive rating despite being negative, like across
it usually happens
like KD.
when you get a lot of openings and things like that, yeah, and you don't die straight after. But yeah, I mean, I would be guessing at this point.
It would be crazy if it was Spinx. I think that's too crazy for me.
But he's been up there in openers this whole tournament though. Like he was somewhere like close to 30% for the whole event. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was him. And he was taking things into his hands a lot, but still, it just feels like it's got to be donk, surely.
Gentlemen,
let's go for donk.
Locking in donk. Correct answer is now.
Okay.
Hold up.
How close?
Both answers are correct because they were tied.
Oh my god!
It was 12 opening kills each. But I want to bring this into the context, gentlemen. I want to bring this one little detail in here. So you get 5 from 5. The people at home win the $50 skin.
Oh.
They were all tied up. But cop this. Spinx, 12 opening kills. Donk, 12 opening kills. Spinx, 2 opening deaths. Donk, 13 opening deaths.
Yeah, that does make sense.
So there's a pivot off the back of this. It's into talking about Spinx getting his MVP. It's his first MVP. He gets in the final here against Spirit at the, I want to say, first event of the season. We're back underway now. Let's roll and see who we get, and then we'll jump into that MVP convo. The winner is Simo444R. So congratulations, Simo444R. Well, you know, it's not rigged or anything, I promise. We're going to reach out to you, Mr. Simo444R. Just type in the kick chat, and Lucas will get chatting with you, and you can work out how the skin goes. So congratulations. But, boys, you got 5 from 5, and you can see here we're pivoting into the Spinx MVP conversation. That final, Striker, as you were saying, he took over, right? The level of play we're seeing from him in that final. We've seen Spinx have very good games before, but this over all 4 maps. And you're right, he did take the game into his own hands. It was very impressive. Probably the best Spinx performance I've ever seen.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know if he's ever had a better game against the top team
top
before,
opposition,
to be honest.
yeah.
Like really top notch opposition. So I think realistically his best game in his entire career.
I mean, go ahead.
No, you jump, you go. I was setting you up. I was going to throw to you, but you're already in. Go.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think the opposition and the moment, as much as it is Blast Bounty like studio with a bit of a crowd, it's not
a
like
LAN game.
It's still a LAN game. It's still against one of the best teams in the world, still against donk, right? I think it's really impressive to see him do this, because my mental note for Spinx is like great in the average game, but as soon as, you know, the opposition gets a bit tougher, the moment gets bigger, he shies away of being, you know, taking into his own hands the round, kind of baiting a bit, leaving his teammates out to dry. And like, I think it happened also in this tournament earlier, or in some earlier games, where like the cohesion between him and like PR or Zelix wouldn't really be what you want it to be.
Sure.
But on this this series, he was just fire. He was just everything you see him do in a group stage or in like some less important games. He was doing this against Spirit, and yeah, I 100% agree. This is a game that changes how I see him as a player. Not completely, but it's like, okay, maybe this is a start of a shift of like what this guy can bring to MOUZ or to any team, right?
I think it's key, right? Because you bring up a couple of things. Some of the games throughout the run, right? Obviously, this is essentially just a single elimination bracket where we're doing picks each round. So it's not like a linear bracket because of the way the choices go through. But essentially, it is just an online portion into a LAN portion. We funnel down to the winner, right? But in some of those earlier games, like the 3D Max game, the beat bomb site between PR and Spinx didn't look very good. There were some other games where MOUZ, I think, were looking pretty shaky in the late rounds, where they had a number of advantages. They had like equal 4v4 type game states, and then they would get just crumble. And that was happening a little bit earlier on in the tournament. And then Spinx kind of took over in this final, which obviously this is an MVP performance, but that's the reason to me that MOUZ win this. I know it seems like a stupid thing to say, like, yeah, obviously, but otherwise,
I think it is what masks some of the problems, right? I think.
Yes. That's a nice framing there. But I want to make sure that we stay on a positive note because we tend not to be too positive when talking about MOUZ due to them just being in the same cycle. But they've won a big boy trophy. This is better than. Oh, actually, I don't know if it's better than. I guess because they beat Spirit in the final, it is. But this is better than their Cluj win last year. Would we say?
I think Cluj last year, since it was an arena, meant more for MOUZ specifically, and like what MOUZ were struggling with. Whoop. I adjusted my seat, almost fell off. But I think it's still a huge one because it's an indication of that this new lineup can work and can bring something. As much as it, we spoke about the last 3 episodes, we're not really taking Blast Bounty and being like, okay, that's now going to dictate the rest of the season. Now MOUZ is contender for every title, but it does show that there is potential, and they had like 3 months of pretty average to bad results, right? So they needed something along these lines. And going to the final and losing to Spirits is like, it would be okay, but that would be like a classic MOUZ result where it's just like, it's okay, but nothing special. I think it also showed that PR can offer something more than he was in Gamer Legion, even though even here some of the initial games didn't look
some stinkers,
super hot, but the grand final he played really well. So it's the key things that you want to see improved. Spinx as the main star of the team, and then on top of that, PR as the new addition to that they both can perform.
I think we lost Striker's webcam here, Lucas. Is that what's happened here, or am I? Yeah,
I'm here.
There you go.
Back now. I want to share my screen because I want to stay focused on Spinx in the final. There were just some of the moves that stood out to me as moves that I would like to see Spinx make more often, but him playing looser and with more freedom. That was one of the things. I think when you're on debut with a roster and it's not that there's no expectations. Obviously, there's expectations for MOUZ, but we don't have them as title winners. We have them as like playoff contenders, or maybe they're in the conversation for starting to shift into more of a playoff gatekeeper. So this result right now, I think, keeps them in the playoff conversation, but still, in terms of against all the bigger names, do I place them as title contenders? Probably not, but I wanted to show some of these rounds. There's a few more, but we'll just go over a couple of them just because these were like audacious Spinx moments that you want to see from an extremity player. Not all the time because you're just going to get shut down and the round can't manifest, but you want to just throw these into your game every now and again. And this happened in the final. In every map, he made some moves. So this one here is just it's a full gun round, so it's an important round. You can see 7th round Mirage first half. And just take a look at what Spinx does. So we're just going to focus over towards A ramp. They're just doing, default mid control. They're feigning presence. They're throwing all the standard nades. And there's nothing too crazy that makes it feel like, it's an all-in mid control round coming out here. So I'll keep speeding it up. Here we go. So in mid, the CTs haven't flashed and tried to like play through the smoke or do anything crazy to play for space. Spinx is just going to walk out the ramp. I think I can speed this up. There we go. So Spinx is just going to walk out the ramp, even though the mid guys aren't under any pressure, get a kill against Tanir. That's what you want to see from an extremity player. It's hard to gauge, and he's done that, right, with no info of them taking mid control. So that's just a ballsy move in my mind. That's the way I frame that type of a play. I'll flick over. There's one on Nuke here. We'll have to see which order these ended up in. I think this is the squeaky door push. So in this round here, this is another like move you want to see.
This one
from
was sick.
Right, he catches the timing. He pushes through the smokes. There's 2 smokes. There's a tease to go down vent and one to block door. He catches the timing, just chips one off, and he's away. Right, those are the difference-making moves. And this was the Spinx we saw in the final. This last one.
This is what you as a player like. This is what shows that you want to win this game, right? I know that's kind of a simplistic view of it, but it's what shows that you want to take over, right? You want to take it into your hands rather than wait for what comes to you.
Just wanted to highlight that this one, the push on the door was round 19 on Nuke, like that is map 4 of a grand final. Like that can go either way, and you can lose the round, and maybe it goes, the game gets out of hand. But it's one of those that definitely helped them close out that map in like quite decently easy, let's say.
Yeah. And here's another one, right? And obviously he plays the position for this, but this one I know Donk was super frustrated at. So you saw Donk show frustrations after things, but Spinx has come through as the first guy outdoor. And I think this reinforces your point, Striker. Like the Spinx I saw in this final was happy to make moves. The Spinx that I normally see is a little bit scared, right? This one, it's not anything special, but it's just seeing Spinx entry. It's nice, So we can stop sharing the screen now, but they were just a couple from the final that I quickly looked up. But yeah, he was playing much more active. He was really being a nuisance against Spirit. So congratulations to MOUZ on getting the trophy. But again, it's like, it's so early in the season. And because the way this event gets framed, it's a nice win and they seize the opportunity, but it doesn't shift the needle for me into changing my discourse about MOUZ. I need to see more of them against the better names, right? So to see more. And this is the first event. So many new rosters, all this stuff going on. But then this is where the framing kind of shifts, I suppose. We can keep talking about MOUZ. Do you guys have more that you want to follow up with here? Like Torji was in the race for MVP until the final, and then Spinx took over.
I just wanted to talk about Spinx just a little bit more in the sense of, I'm curious if this is like a shift in his mindset, because it's interesting that this comes after an interview where he's talking more about like, okay, you have to play more for the team, you have to support the team more, like you can't just be put in the best position and expect to be a star and all these things. And that's interesting to hear from Spinx, who's garnered quite a bit of a reputation for being a baiter, right? I don't know if that's him like just like trying to change that a little bit or what it is, but it could just be simply that he understands that he has to be the guy who is now taking control over games, because he has a Zelex who's literally just entered tier 1. He has a PR who's barely had any experience in these playoffs games against the better teams to do that for him, right? So who else would do that other than him and Xerxan, let's say, as the two pieces? But Xerxan is obviously now an in-game leader, so you can't really expect him to take on all of that responsibility, to be the one who's taking things into his own hands. So I hope that this is a turning point for Spinx, because I think that's what MOUZ have been missing, right? Because if Spinx had been this player a bit more in the past, I think they would have been probably a bit closer to being a consistent contender rather than just, going missing in every game, because it was kind of a team-wide thing. I don't want to make it look like it was just Spinx who was disappearing in these games, but you just do need that one player who will be like, okay, fuck it, I'll do this. And then, I'll open up the round for everybody else, and then everybody has a bit more space. You have a bit more to work with, right? And you just need somebody who will say this and do it, and not really care about what's going to be the outcome of it, right? So I think that's cool. I do hope that it is not just like one game thing where the pressure is obviously really low on MOUZ, because nobody expects them to win this game. Everybody expects them to be second at this tournament because of the way that the teams worked out at the tournament. It was always going to be a Spirit and MOUZ final, I think, in almost every world, because there was nobody else that was anywhere near as good as those two teams at the tournament. So I think, heading into that final, that pressure is like completely off of you at this point, because you're already overperforming to a degree where you're, taking the game to Spirit. So I think that could have played a part in that, kind of feeling like you can make moves that, you otherwise wouldn't, just because, what's there to lose.
Fair. Yeah, I was just looking that they broke a 7-series loss streak, and I looked at just the last series they played in Astana this year. Obviously, different rosters and a lot of things have shifted and changed and everything like that. But Spinx, in that series they lost in Astana, they got owned 13-3, 13-2. So, but he only had 9 kills in that series. So for him to be able to play a bit looser and find that impact, it's a good sign. But I think your point there about it being hopefully the turning point striker, we just have to wait and see, because it could just settle back in. You normally have Xerxan as the playmaker. Now Zelex is in there alongside of him, right? I thought Torji was having a good tournament. But it's not more of the same, because we expect a decently high bar of Counter-Strike caliber from MOUZ. It's always just once we're getting into the finals and the bigger games with more pressure.
But that conversation changes now a lot, right? Because of 2 new players coming in, 2 very young players.
Doesn't it reset though? Or do you think it's open for... I said, do you think it resets, or do you think it's just open for interpretation now based off of an arena game? I just think
we can't really see MOUZ in the same lens as we had before, because before this, we've known this MOUZ to be the same for, let's say, a year and a half or whatever it was when they were making these deep runs, right? But now, they've lost 2 pieces that were effectively a lot more... had a lot more pedigree than this, and then coming in with 2 completely young guys, and even the wording from or even the language from Cyclone, from Xerxan, is very much, this is a play for the long term, right? It's not, we don't expect to be at our best shape right away, but we think once we get these young players in and teach them a bit more, then we can see how this is going to be an improvement on the previous roster, right? So I think that's a big part of the conversation about how much that changes the expectations on MOUZ, right? Because at this point, maybe we would expect them to just barely be making playoffs, if at all, right? Like somewhere on that edge. Before that, we would expect them to make the top 4s all the time.
Top 4, sure,
and the occasional final, right? So it's just a bit of a step down now, I think, in terms of expectations.
That's fair. Prof, you were saying something before?
I mean, in terms of, the classic MOUZ final, with Torsia playing a good tournament, and then the final he kind of didn't. He wasn't. I don't want to say he wasn't a factor, but he wasn't like a big difference maker positively, right? If Spinx doesn't play like this, they probably lose.
Yeah,
like if he doesn't go like above and beyond like a normal Spinx level, like a good Spinx level, then you just have a classic MOUZ final where they're all kind of okay, but not really good enough to beat Spirit. And that's why it's so important that he did do this, right?
This opens up the flip side of the conversation, though, right? Because what happens off the back of the Spirit loss is a few different things. One, I think it was donk had 4 or 5 maps with a negative KD, right?
Five in a row, yeah.
Yeah, and then you
I
also
think 6 over the land portion.
So obviously an off tournament for donk standards, right? That's the first thing that you have to point out. And then the other factor that people will gravitate towards in the community is Hallie was back, right? And that obviously drew a lot of attention there in terms of Hallie coming back. But I think that when you look at this, we gave the good graces to every team coming into this event that it's the first event of the season. Spirit made the final, where a lot of other teams were eliminated in the online portion and didn't even get close. It wasn't a great looking Spirit, and it does bring, like, people will then look for confirmation bias of, oh, Hallie's back, the utility was worse, or Hallie's back, Twistzz was worse. And that conversation is kind of seeming a bit prevalent at the moment. I think it's too early to judge anything, and Spirit aren't the type of team. Like when donk had the first map, there was like, and I was like, well, it's not going to happen 2 maps in a row. And I was like, oh shit, okay, hold up. It might happen. It might happen 2 maps in a row, and it happened more than that, right? So I don't know. For the sake of the final, yeah, they lost. It sucks. They're going to be mad about it. But for the sake of Spirit going forward, I don't think it leaves any lasting like residue. It's not like, oh shit, guys, we need to go back and look at everything we do. It was like, donk, your special weapon had a bad day at the office, and he's normally the only guy that we're talking about when these guys are playing. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. You can't. I don't blame donk.
I think start of the season stuff is interesting because I was looking at donk and like his worst tournaments and like where does this
is up there?
Where does this compare? And this is like Blast Bounty Season 2, 1.16 rating, 9 maps, and that is his like 6th worst tournament. But off the bottom is IEM Cologne 2024, 0.8, first tournament of the season, right? Then there's a Pro League, but it's only 2 maps, so I don't want to count that too much. Then
is this only 2 maps as well? No, sorry, not 2 maps, 2 series?
This would be 3 series here, no? Quarterfinal, semifinal, final.
Yeah.
But then, so IEM Cologne, first event of the season, then Esports World Cup would be the second event of the same season. That was 0.98 rating, 5 maps. Then Blast Bounty Season 1 from this year, then a Blast Final, which is okay, and then another Blast Bounty. So it's essentially all of the tournaments are the first or second tournament of the season for donk. These are the worst tournaments that he has. So it's not really, as much as it, it is a LAN, they played online, they kind of warmed up and everything. Historically, these have been his worst tournaments, the ones at the start of the season. So it's not actually out of the ordinary in that regard.
Yeah, and I think that it helps when you're weighing up some of these results, right? So I mean,
he also does have 2 bounty MVPs, to be fair, from the previous year. So he also had a lot of them that have been great.
I saw people talking about. I saw this HLTV thread, and it was a funny premise. It was like the bounty curse. They're looking at like the last 2 bounties. So the bounty before this one, Paravision won. They ended up changing 2 players at the end of the season. The one before that, Spirit won. Now, the reason I don't think you can call it a bounty curse is because Spirit won Cologne. So I think we kind of can't bring that in. But then Spirit also made 2 roster changes at the end of the season. So will MOUZ, the bounty winners, in the 3rd consecutive season, make 2 roster changes at the end of the season? I don't know. We'll find out. Paravision did it. Spirit did it. Maybe MOUZ are up next. That could be the bounty curse. But otherwise, I don't really have too much to go into with Spirit. Like, I don't want to dwell on these things. Like, I think that they looked at times like things were quite strugglesome for them to be able to break through. They were playing from behind in some of these situations, and it feels like that's always a bit tough for them. And yeah, donk not fragging with the traditional output that we expect donk to frag at. That's it. That's my take anyway. I don't know if we got more to add.
I thought when I was watching the FaZe series just before that they obviously almost nearly, they could have lost effectively, and that was without donk, realistically making that much of a difference. So it's just, Yeah, again, I don't necessarily think that this is some sign of the future. That I saw a lot of people say things like, "Oh, Donk's lost that flair," where he's getting all the openings. It's like, bro, this has been one tournament. Like the previous tournament we saw him at, he was just the same Donk we've always known. In terms of, when obviously not towards the end, because at the Cologne Major against Falcons, he was also a bit disappeared, right? But games before that, he was just destroying people as he always does. So it's I don't think there's any doubt that Donk is still very much up there.
If it continues into EWC and he still continues, then there's cause for concern. But I think you give the benefit of the doubt now, and we reassess after EWC to see if we need to be concerned with anything. But yeah, I think it's just slow start to the season. That's all, and that's going to happen. Do we want to? I don't know if you guys have any other key takeaways from the playoffs. Like obviously there was the Astralis Pain series that could have gone either way. You mentioned the FaZe game. I think obviously FaZe have been getting a lot of conversation throughout the. I want to say break, even though it wasn't a break, but the post major period they were playing a couple of tournaments there. There's another one for them now, very important for them to get back into things.
Just to throw it out there, this is definitely a. I don't want to say like a full on recovery from FaZe, but suddenly they're back on the button, right? They're back in the invite cycle for a lot of these tournaments. We will see how it turns out. But just yesterday, the new ranking came out where they're just outside of some of these tournaments and then just inside for a bunch of the others. And realistically, there's going to be a one or two teams that will skip a bunch of these and they'll make it to all of them. And suddenly we will have FaZe at all of these tournaments, which is a massive turnaround from where they were just before the not Fisher event. It was China, but not Fisher. XSC Pro League, right?
But just on that, we are going to do a bit of an exercise later today with that, because August 3rd was huge for this season.
Exercises, fucking blitz tests. What is going on?
It's like school, man. I'm doing more schoolwork here than I did at school.
It's summer. Their school's out.
Well, summer school, everyone's got to take it, and you're going to have fun, right? So we're having a great time right now. Okay, so I think the FaZe sentiment that you're posing now, I would say it's a recovery from from missing the major to now being back in a position where they could be getting those invites. So I think they've done well to get there. I still would like more info. This is a question I have, I guess, for the group. I saw a stream clip of JL saying, "Oh, he's got a team." I've heard murmurs. I'm not going to say because the Turkish people will get upset. It's got nothing to do with Turkey. But do you guys know where JL's going? Have you heard anything, Striker? You can just say you have. We don't have to talk about it.
I have. We don't have to talk about it.
Okay. Have you heard about it, Prof?
I don't know anything.
Striker, is your interpretation of whatever he has lined up temporary?
Yes.
Okay, me too. So then we have the same. We have the same information that we will not share with people because you're ruining
the forums right now. JL contract.
You're ruining.
People are saying. He said it will be mind-blowing. Monty is out, people are saying.
I'm not going to say it. I don't know if it's mind-blowing. I think last week's episode, one of you two touched on a team that we might need to look at and how the season might go for them with certain things happening. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If I give any more clues, we've given too many clues. So there you go. I'll confer with Striker on our information post-podcast, everybody. That'll be for our Patreon users. That's $100. No. Okay. So we have to have more takeaways, guys. Are we not taking away the fact that Liquid lost to Spirit and then went to Stake and they're going to be playing later today? Are we going to talk about how 3D Max with Kersey don't look any worse than they did when they didn't have Kersey? Are we going to talk about Darkmeister and Tikiwak on the Mongols looking relatively comfortable on land despite finishing 5th to 8th? Are we talking about any of that?
Honestly, not too interesting. I think the Mongols looked okay, but it's, again, what are we drawing as conclusions off of like winning one map against FaZe? Like 2 weeks ago, everyone would say FaZe is absolute dog shit. And now winning a map off of them is like an achievement and proves that Mongols are good. Doesn't prove shit. So that's where I am at. Let's see some more. It's great that they didn't lose 13-1, 13-2.
Okay,
I'd say that.
I mean, it's still very much jury's out, right? Like how good they are. I think right now where they are about the top 12, 13, 14 kind of area, right? We're just on the brink of top 10. I think that's relatively realistic considering the teams that we've seen them play against, right? Because they're coming close against the Mongols or the Paravisions or some of these newer teams that are coming in, right? They lost one of those. They won one of those. They're just on that fringe. the best series realistically that they've played is probably the Spirit one, but that is with the caveat that donk wasn't really on, you know. And so like you see good moments from the individuals. Like I think Jay Bowen is pretty solid. I think Nate also has moments like when his anchoring he can be quite explosive, which is fun.
He had
really
some.
good to watch
He had some
sometimes.
really good moments in that Spirit series.
Yeah,
He had like the deagle on Cash towards forklift moment. That was
such
fucking
an
sick.
insane round.
Like he had some really important multi kills. Like he was the only reason they were getting rounds on Dust too. Like. Like when he was anchoring the B site, they kept trying to do B pops, and he was doing a very good job locking that down. What did they end up losing on? Right, it was Anubis, the third map. They definitely could have won that as the third map. They kind of just let things start to slip a little bit towards the end,
or something. And after winning the pistol, so they were definitely in cruise control at that point.
Yeah, 10-5 up. I wrote notes as each match was happening, but this is where I kind of figured I'd be in the same position as you guys, like the jury being out in a lot of this, and how much can I take? Like I wrote for 3D Max MOUZ. Kersey is competent, same 3D Max aggression, but they were doing it on later timings in some rounds as well. Nuke was very entertaining. PR had a stinker on Dust too. B bomb site got overrun. Spinx and PR didn't look connected.
That was the same conversation with Alex at the beginning. Obviously, you know, we still have to wait for that. The Dust 2 that they played against Spirit, it was pretty okay. They didn't have the same problems quite as much. So, yeah, how much of it is just because Spinx started fragging out a bit more? That's what I was talking about with maybe masking some of the issues, right? Spinx maybe being a bit more on when those situations happen.
What else I got here? FaZe versus MongolZ. 3-12 down, FaZe win 16-12. Both teams struggled on T side. Jay Bowen 20-4 on CT side. Darkmeister and TQAT good in heads up CS, so they can shoot. They're never a question. I feel like this is like someone's gonna find this on like a floppy disk somewhere in 1,000 years from now and read this and think it's like some type of ancient code. Spirit versus FaZe. FaZe banned Mirage over Dust 2. Big desk conversation. Nature very good B defense. Was the foundation of FaZe early game with the pistol. 7-5 first half to Spirit. FaZe had their chances. Magic had a very good map. Dog was a passenger.
Yeah, also
it's
that
like, these are like movie recaps.
The Deagle highlight, if that doesn't happen, you know, and it was really not supposed to happen, then Spirit probably would have had, you know, economy control and everything, and that T-side would have gone quite a bit differently, probably. Magix was talking about the same thing, right? So, yeah, it was a lot of turning points, I think, from him, which is nice. I'm still a bit kind of up and down on him, but he can be explosive. It can be fun to watch. Just I don't know about the ceiling of the roster as a whole at the moment. It doesn't feel super high, but we still also haven't seen them play the best teams quite a lot.
I'm just looking at this Astralis MOUZ game as well, just quickly. I think Mirage, the scoreline, even though it was 13-9, I don't think it was that close. The rounds that they were getting on the CT side of Astralis, that is because of either FaZe with the AWP was doing some crazy shit, and then Yabby started double AWPing. Otherwise, they just looked a little bit losty. And then they tried to salvage the scoreline of the Dust 2 game, but they were getting a fucking hiding. So, yeah, okay. Too early for everybody.
Yeah, FaZe is not looking that hot since his like good start to the season.
He has to be the guy for them, like alongside of Stair, right? I think there's too many inconsistent players. Like Yabby and FaZe are both too inconsistent, but they're meant to make up the star trio alongside of Stair. I think Stair's such a class piece that if teams aren't looking at him at the end of this season, I don't know what the buyouts will be or anything, but he's definitely a player who I think could be slotting into one of these higher rated international teams if they're looking for players. Even a Navi for Imma. I know that sounds kind of, well, actually,
that sounds kind of crazy, but I feel like he's the type of player that
could play
Blade would actually want.
Yeah. And what I've mentioned this on the show before, but as my old teammate, coach of FlyQuest, he played with Stair on Sprout for a short period of time, and he said even back then, he said that Stair had like in-game leader type communication, which is what you want from a map control player. That's kind of what Aaron was for me, right? Like on certain maps when he was taking space, he would be very good with the comms too. And that's that type of the guy that can make those calls or give the information can be huge for a team. So I'm very high on Stair. Okay. Let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? Let's jump into the recent news. There's been a couple of bits and bobs that have been happening across the shop. But before we get there, we're going to start with the top comment. Thanks to Steak. We're doing it not at the top of the show today. We did Skinionaire there, so if you're just tuning in, you missed it. But Prof's going to have the top YouTube and maybe Spotify comments from last week's episode.
Before I start,
we're going to dive into it.
I'll throw out the weekly reload from Steak promotion for the users, viewers of HLTV Confirmed. Can check that out on the Steak website through support. Put in code HLTV.org and they can get $35 across 7 days. But Now we're talking about the Vitality jersey, which Steak has nicely provided. We have some top comments that we'll highlight. There's actually a bunch of conversation on Spotify this week. 22 comments. Benji Yes was describing or explaining the term catfishing. Funnily enough, I Googled this and I did not find anything. The explanation online is completely different, but I thought it was a good one. The term catfishing comes from southern United States, where people stick their hands into mud holes to pull out catfish. Sometimes people find a snapping turtle instead, much like dating, where people can expect one thing, instead get another beast.
Isn't that called noodling?
Well,
I think it's technically called noodling.
Yeah. Do you do this in Australia?
No, I'm not stupid enough to put my fucking arm in a hole so a fucking giant fish can bite it. What the fuck?
Well,
that sounds crazy.
It's an interesting theory. It seems like the whole, I was Googling a bit, doing some research on the catfish terminology, and seems like very unclear where it came from. There's this whole story about like transporting cod in barrels and putting one catfish in the barrel to keep the cod alive or something. I don't know. It's a whole thing. Okay. Shamomo commented, when is SPUNJ renaming Istanbul to Constantinople? I have no idea what this reference is, why this reference exists. But
what does that mean?
Well, that was how it used to be.
Yeah, that was how was it called before. But I don't know why. What did you say in the show to cause this? But
it's a famous ancient capital city known as serving the heart of the Roman. Fucking hell.
Yeah, so Constantinople was used to be Istanbul. Yeah, Istanbul used to be
Alexandria.
Okay.
Same thing. Yes. No. I don't know. C Peacock 30 says, "Can I get a stat track on my condom?" Which I think is that's.
What was his nickname?
C Peacock.
Okay.
I feel like if you're asking for this, you don't know how condoms work, and you should watch a YouTube video or something.
Educate yourself.
Now, if you wanted like a cock and ball ring, we could definitely probably put like a stat track on it. But the condom, I don't recommend reusing it.
It's a one use. It's a one use thing.
Yeah,
so we don't wash. Some people wash them and reuse them. That's not really how it should be. How it should be done.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think anyone does.
And the final one here.
Final one says it's a bunch of numbers as the username, and bro says, "SPUNJ, what the fuck is broccolini?"
Broccolini is like long broccoli.
Like
fancy broccoli.
Thin, long broccoli. Yeah.
Yeah. You could just Google it. It's fucking get on the Googs, mate.
It's quite
delicious.
Good though.
I love it.
It's quite good.
It's something butter and lemon. Oof.
Elegant. It's very elegant. So and food very does also visually comes, the taste comes visually as well. So something like this, it just hits. Okay. Anyway, on YouTube, 80 comments. X clicked, said, what a time to be alive. Joe Biden and Netanyahu saving FaZe, Liquid choking it all over Vitality, and Falcons getting robbed by literal thieves. Brackets, my unks. Has to be a scripted season. That's it. This guy, funnily enough, he used a lot of like popular terminology. Only 2 likes. Didn't work this time. The copy pasta
gave it a go,
angle. Andrew Beermaker says catfish or caught out segment was what a lobotomy must have felt like. Which is this is a good comment, honestly, not gonna lie. Yeah. It was a struggle. But we come back
sometimes
stronger.
We try things and they don't work out, guys, but be brave enough to try. All right. Yeah, embrace the cringe. Cringe is freedom. You don't know it, but the cringe is freedom. Don't worry about how you're perceived by others. Give catfish or caught a go. Go try and catfish someone right now. Maybe it'll be a good time. I'm not recommending it, but I'm saying try everything.
You should try everything once. Yeah, that's what to say. This comment only had 1 like, but I thought it was very funny because the person is replying to when Striker was talking about the huge sticker money coming from the Paris Major, and then it's not really continuing forward. So it was kind of misleading. And the guy said, as if email looking like a good player wasn't the most misleading part of the Paris Major. Only 1 like for this banger is crazy. It's crazy.
I feel like, am I crazy, or is Ema just getting shafted like crazy?
He's like getting destroyed
because
publicly.
I feel like I know, but does he really deserve any of it?
No, he doesn't.
Because I don't think he's been that bad.
No, I don't think he's been
like
good.
Suddenly P1. I know, but it's not suddenly the one problem of Navi and that he fucks up everything he touches. It's like that's how the community treats him at the moment. I'm like, are we looking at the same player or what's going on? Like, I know he's not been great.
He was quite insane at with Gamer Legion there. Right?
But then no expectations, just putting their feet up, drinking some Coke, playing Counter-Strike in a major final.
This one got 11 likes. Vixer616710. He says, I'm gay.
Okay. 11 people like that. That's
cool.
They were 3 replies as well. Okay. Who's the winner?
Yeah.
It's got to be winner next.
Walk with me golf. Patiently waiting for the Talking Ticks with TikTok segment with guest host Rushley.
Okay. Great comment. Well done. 55 likes. Walk with me golf. It's probably one of the best ways to play golf. You can go in a buggy or you can walk. I don't know if there are other ways to play golf. You could play virtual golf. You don't have to walk anywhere. You could just, you
can join Launders.
Yeah, for sure.
So
this might, I don't know if I talked about the ticks on this show. Did I talk about the ticks on this show?
I don't think so.
So when I was in the UK, I was there for Machine's wedding, and then I hung around for a little bit after the wedding because Rush is from the Peak District. So I went up there with him, his partner, and my partner, and we stayed in a Airbnb near his family's house, and he took us around the Peak District and stuff. But we went for every day we're going walking, and one day we went to a place. We asked the woman there who was working there, and she said there's a lot of deer and they have a lot of ticks, and we were both wearing shorts. So for the whole day, we were freaking out that we were going to get attacked by ticks. We didn't know there was no ticks. No one saw any ticks. No one even saw a deer. But we were having one of those days where the whole kind of walk got ruined because me and Rush were wearing shorts and worried about ticks. And then I don't know where the tick you act. I guess because it's like ticks. So there you go. It's not a great story, but everyone now at least understands the point of the comment, right? There wasn't a payoff. It wasn't a great telling of it. I could have been better, a bit more theatrics. Wasn't feeling it.
It's interesting. The multiverse of the podcast is interacting. This is like a fan service moment for people that watch that podcast and being like, "Oh, I know this reference from the other thing."
The streams.
Yeah. Marvel, watch out. We're coming for you.
Thank you very much to Steak. And, I don't know if it's thanks to Vitality, but thanks to Steak, who probably have like a whole warehouse full of Vitality jerseys. And they just keep getting shipped because Vitality keep making new jerseys. So like Steak, I think, fuck, we got to buy a lot of jerseys. So congratulations to Walk With Me Golf. We'll get it sorted. All right, let's keep moving around here. So Fisher Playground 5 now becomes 3. So we were talking about this at the start of the year where they had like 3 events penciled in and they're all like $1 million plus events and all this talk. And they ran a couple of nice events last year, but we knew that they had an issue with some funding and we weren't quite sure what was going to happen this year. They've canceled a couple, but they are still going to be running one event, apparently. It's no longer in the initial announced city, which I've forgotten the name of, Shenzhen, but it's now has moved to Shuhao. I don't know how to pronounce this.
I'm not going to try.
Suzhou. Suzhou. So it's still going to be happening in China. I think this is somewhere near Shanghai. It says here in the HLTV news article written by Lucas. It is a city of 12 million that lies 90 kilometers west of Shanghai and is part of the Yangtze Delta megalopolis. I think that's right. 16-team event, 1.25 million. But the key point here is that the event is apparently happening. That's the only reason we bring you this information, is because I thought all Fisher events were just going to get canned. Is there anything you know in the background here, Striker, of to why this one is actually taking place?
Yeah, I mean they have secured some additional funding from, I don't want to fuck up the name because I don't remember, but
from somewhere.
Do it at some point. That they got from so they were able to go ahead and even pay out some of the outstanding prize money they had. I think it's not quite all of it yet from the previous tournaments, which is obviously, that's probably going to drive a lot of the decision making from some of these teams, whether they're going to go to this event or not, whether they're going to get paid for the last event or how much of it they're going to pay out. I know that's all in the process, like sometime now, and obviously the lead into the tournament is already happening. The invite date just passed, as we will get to later. But yeah, I mean, I think the event's going to be good, because I think it's just in a position where a lot of teams will have to go regardless of whether they think they're going to get paid for it or not.
Here's the point that it mentions the company that they're working. Fisher also announced that it will be the first event of a long-term strategic partnership with GG Media, a live media production company based in Shanghai that recently ran the Blast Open Porto 2026 Asian qualifiers. So they
I wanted
found
to say
somebody
that I knew that was wrong, and I couldn't remember the actual name.
But at least they found somebody to collaborate with, because they were definitely starting to make a bit of a mark last year by having some events that garnered interest. And as you mentioned, with the VRS and the level of offerings, teams feel like they have to go. But nothing that we have to spend too much time on right now, because we'll get about the August 6th stuff shortly. We'll get a couple of other quick pieces of news just to slide through. Prof, how much attention were you paying to your favorite team? That's, of course, BCG winning the Elisa Esports Breakout Series 1. Were you paying a lot of attention to that?
I was actually kind of ran through the final that they played earlier today.
Okay.
To see how that went. It was, I mean, what can you expect, really? Honestly, I thought this ENCE team looked better than I expected. They looked quite decently coordinated.
To be the ENCE Academy team for those people playing at home.
And Alu is behind them. When I was watching the stuff, I was like, oh, got jump scared. I was like, I didn't see this guy in a long time, even though we ran the news that he's taking over as the coach over there. So my initial reaction looking at the scores, I was like, this is kind of bad. But then, these kids played pretty decent Counter-Strike. They weren't scrubs. I think it kind of looked what I expected it to look. I don't think their T sides were like super great, but CT, they're just individually so much better that they win rounds off of that. Like Senzu was great throughout the tournament. Mazzinho had some rounds. Simple had some rounds, even though I don't think Simple Electronic Magic trio didn't look super impressive to me. But for this level, it was more than enough.
They did the job, right?
Yeah, they came there to get
They've stolen
wins.
the pocket money from these kids. Lucas, bring up this kid, mate. Bring him up. These guys, these bullies from BCG, they've gotten in there, souped up sports car, Subaru WRX with the massive exhaust, and they've gone over. They've gone over to Finland, and they've taken the money and the chance for a young man like Mick1. He's 15, guys. He just wants to play. And these bullies from BCG have gone over there, and it's a heist. It's an absolute heist. All right. Poor Mick1. Look at him. He's 15, Prof. I'm 37 now. I'm more than double his age and then some.
He dropped the fucking 114 against BC game, by the way.
Yeah.
He was the top fragger for his team.
Let's fucking go, Mick1. Look at him. 15. It's just, geez.
This picture looks 11, which is even funnier. Makes it even funnier.
I was watching some of this, just looking at some of these games, going, "What universe are we in?" That skit that ESL did, where it was taking Frozen out of prison, and then ended up they grabbed karrigan instead. That right there, that's the premise of what this is built off, right? Going to any land for VR. So they had to do it, right? I'm obviously doing a bit here, everybody. BCG took care of business. They were under all the pressure to win because of the fact they're going to Finland to kind of, have a heist at this event. And they ended up now being 84th in the VRS. So I'd say very successful. Honestly, I think a very successful trip for BCG.
The funny part, one of the funny parts, is that the tournament is called Elisa Esports Breakout Series. Simple and Magic and Electronic, the breakout players of the future. One for the future, I would say.
Every player there for BCG, including Taz, all either major finalists or winners. 4 of the 6 members, major winners. And then you've got Mzinho. So, fuck it out. It's tough, isn't it?
Taz could be a dad for like 80% of the field.
Yeah, but look, the point of this is BCG will come up soon when we're talking about EWC, but they did the job. They're now 84th in the VRS rankings. Not too much more we need to say here, I don't think. Everyone happy?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I think nothing really bad. I think they did as well as you can. So let's see where they go off to next. Do we have any info on the events? They don't have any
EWC. They're in the open qualifier.
EWC is going to be hugely important for them. That's where the convo is going to really kick off for us. That's our next segment. Just before we can get there, just last 2 things. We'll then take a break, and then we'll do this exercise with the August 3rd invites. So TDK, I told you guys last week to pay attention. right? Because I think this is an exciting team. Nafany's there, Axon's there, Belchinok's there now. Art Frost is on the AWP, and it's Fame they have, right? So Groove coaching. So keep your eyes on there. They've signed for 1 win, so now they're in an organization at least, and they're a team who you should keep an eye on. That will be in the EWC Open qualifier, and there's some good names there. So I'm not saying they're the next big thing, but I'm saying that there's at least they're relevant to some degree.
Yeah, I didn't even know that Groove was coaching since the start of the year. This TDK team, like at least we have him on record since January 2026. Like he was in Cloud9 till like start of February 25. So like a year, he was just like nowhere on the map. Obviously, like with Gambit youngsters before, that's where he broke out with the Shiro and Nafany and those guys. But yeah, kind of under the radar that he was even coaching. I completely missed this.
Yeah, that's when these guys were put together. I mean, when Nafany and the Vexel came together, it was already with Groove as well. Here.
Yeah, not a crazy amount for us to say here. This last one though is one, Prof, where I'm going to need your help here. I'm just writing the little tick of it. So the Fire Major tickets go on sale for the first major of next year. We had the Banks Starlighter Major. Now we've got the Banks Argentinian Major coming up. So he's got his hooks in there as we do look forward to what they're going to offer. This is Fire Esports for the Fire Major. I couldn't really navigate their website. It wouldn't like translate the whole thing. You said there's 2 venues, Prof, right? So there's a group stage venue and then there's the Movistar Arena.
Yes.
And you were looking at some ticket prices and stuff. So
I mean, yeah, what I saw there is let me open it so I don't miss the numbers because it's 2 different currencies and stuff like that. But yeah, they did announce like a week or 2 ago that there's going to be like a group stage audience. I think stage 3 as well, maybe all stages. I'm not sure. In like something similar to like the Cologne venue for like 1,000 people or so, or something a bit smaller.
Nice. Yeah.
And then they announced also the ticket sales apparently started. I was trying to register also on the website, but it required my like ID and stuff, so I didn't have time this morning to do that. But it says entry $160 USD for 4 days, if I see this correctly, which I think that's insanely cheap compared to anything in the world. I don't know if this is maybe per day, but I cannot double check this without.
I did read some comments. Some people said it was cheaper than other majors, which would make sense because of the part of the world. But it was hard to be able to. I tried to log in and do all that stuff too, but I didn't spend too much time on it. That's why I kind of deferred it to you. But we both looked at like the venue. They started building it in 2014, and then in 2015 they stopped, and then they picked it back up in 2017 and finished it in 2019. So it's kind of a new arena, which is cool. Like that's always nice.
Yeah.
I'm interested in what the turnout's going to be like. Do you guys expect a lot of people to come internationally, or do you think it's mainly going to be? Well, actually, people could come down from the US, but it's always so much further than you think. You think, okay, you've got North America and you've got South America. It shouldn't take that long to get from North America to South America. And then you remember the America is fucking massive. What do you reckon? Do you think the main audience here is just going to be South Americans?
I think it's going to be like 50-50. I think like obviously.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You think so?
50-50 is a lot for any sort of a event, even in Europe and stuff. Like it's quite heavily local a lot of the time.
I don't know. I feel like Chinese fans travel to like literally every event in the world.
That's fair.
American fans are used to traveling for events. Like even traveling within the US is like flying within US for an event, a concert or whatever seems like super normal. And if the prices are that much cheaper for the tickets, I think it might like how to say even out if you want to go and see the whole thing.
We saw like the Rio Major, right? And that was always heavily Brazilian. Obviously slightly different, prices are going to be different and all that stuff. But yeah, those tournaments have always been very heavily South American.
I think we're in a different era of like majors and stuff like that. Like where people are just keen to travel anywhere and then make it a thing, there's not going to be better opportunities to go to Argentina as a Counter-Strike fan.
It's like a vacation and a thing to do. Yeah, because I met a bunch of guys in Cologne who were doing that. They were treating it as like, okay, so we're in Europe, we're going to spend more time in Europe. Or there was even some guys I met who were coming out just for the event and like spending a week or whatever. So I see what you're saying. It's just less of a tested field as far as events go from a Counter-Strike standpoint. It's not that they haven't run events in Argentina before. They obviously have, but we haven't experienced them, right? So there's always going to be that question for me. And this is where, because us here, and this is, I apologize for the viewers, but we have a pretty good idea of what the majors are going to look like for the next couple of years, right? This is where you wonder if the info was public about the future majors, how much it would change the interest, because I'm sure there's people who are close. Oh, fuck, I can't do it because I have to allude to too many things. Anyway,
I mean, look, we've talked about this before. We at least know that, okay, second major of 27 is Shanghai, it's Perfect World again. And then 2028 majors are going to be Blast and ESL. And we know that Blast is going to be in America somewhere. Where exactly, I don't know. And for the longest time, the rumor was that the ESL one was going to be either Brazil or Australia. But you'd have to think that probably more likely to be Australia, considering we will just have a South American major, whatever, the year before that, right? So that's all the rumors that's been out there for like a year now since it's been decided effectively.
Okay. Well, I never know how much is out there officially. So
I mean, me too,
Yeah.
Sometimes you think everyone knows something and you say it and then people get upset. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. You got to be careful. Okay. Let's put a pin in this. Let's run the very short ad break and we'll come back and we will do this August 3rd invite exercise, I suppose. Lucas, take us to a break. BRB.
Want to hear what the pros have to say?
You're gonna see big things from this kid.
HLTV interviews on the go as they happen. Follow HLTV on Spotify.
Today's HLTV Confirmed episode is brought to you by Skins.com. Skins.com has 0% transaction fees, plus a dedicated instant sell feature when you need cash fast. To start trading, just click login, sign in using your preferred method, and sift through the 50,000 plus skins already listed. A profitable trade is merely a few clicks away.
Did I sit up? I guess we're just readjusting. I don't know, Lucas. So just sometimes you move around,
Bro,
but
Striker heard the quiz is coming up. He left.
No, if anything, he's gone to get his pencil case. He wants his calculator, his ruler. He wants all the good stuff, right? Because he's a good student at Striker. Now, I'm just going to share my screen because I think I already am. So the reason that this is the topic for today, guys, is because August 3rd, that was yesterday, was a big day as far as VRS invites go. It was for 4. We could even say 5 events if we want to include the stake ranked episode 4, but that's a tier 2 event. We can have that conversation in a second. But invites went out yesterday for Fisher Playground 3. We just discussed that. ESL Pro League Season 24, Thunderpick World Championship 2026, and IEM Beijing as well. Now, the Beijing one's a little bit earlier because that's going to be taking place in China and there's a visa thing. But I have a visual representation of a calendar that we'll jump to in a second. Now, I took these screenshots the other night. I think it was the night of the 2nd. So these may have changed slightly, but at the point of me taking the screenshot, you can see here all the teams that are predicted. Now, these are not the teams who have accepted the invites. The invites have gone out, and this is the VRS predicted invitation based off of HLTV's formula and lists and everything along those lines, right? So just as you're having a glance, I'm sure everyone's going to see a couple of logos that appear in all of these. For example, Legacy is one, Falcons is one, MOUZ is another, Vitality's there. The reason that I'm bringing this to the top of the conversation is because we're at a point where the teams now, I believe they normally get a couple of days to the end of the week to reply right to the invites, don't they, Striker? Something along those lines?
From ESL perspective, yeah, they usually expedite it pretty quickly. I know Fisher in the past or some of these like secondary tournament organizers have taken their time because it takes a long time to convince some of these teams and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, generally, at least for the big ones, we get them quite fast.
Yeah, so what we're seeing right now will be concluded upon the end of the week, and the teams are going to be having a conversation that we're going to have today. Now, there's teams who are in different bubbles. All the teams you see right now are the ones who could accept the invites. They don't have to accept these invites, and then it's just going to trickle down the VRS based off of the August 3rd ranking that we had yesterday, and that's what Striker was mentioning earlier with FaZe, right? FaZe are in a position where in some of these events they might be able to sneak out an invite. So we're going to flip between all these three things pretty regularly as we have this conversation. So here is the visual representation of it on a calendar, right? So this is season 2, 2026, quarter 4, because we're running from September, October, November. And what I've done here is I've put the logos at the top for the events that they have to accept the invites for. So that's Fisher Playground, Thunder Pick, Stake Ranked Episode 4, EPL Season 24, and Beijing. Some of these events either are not at the point yet where the invites have gone out, or they already have gone out. For example, Porto starts in like 20 days. We already know the teams who are going to be there. And to cross-reference that, we could click here. We take a look. We can see the teams at Porto, the teams who are at Starladder, and the teams who are going to be at PGL Masters Bucharest because their invites went out early. So what I kind of want to pose the question to the two of you is, if we were going to put ourselves in the shoes of, let's start with Vitality. What events, if you guys were Vitality, or maybe not even if you guys were Vitality, maybe you know, what events do we expect them to pick on this stretch? We know they're at Blast Open Porto. Yeah. Seems unlikely they're going to go to the Fisher event.
Yeah, because they're already in the Star Ladder one also. That's another one that they've accepted already. So for them to make this like 3-week run, I would be surprised knowing Vitality if they were to do that. I think it makes a lot more sense if they go because we also have to remember Porto is another week before that for the group stage before this, so it starts 26th, I think, or 27th. Yeah, I'm just saying that's what I'm just like saying so that everybody understands that that event is like 2 weeks long. So for them to go straight from there to China, unlikely. Then they will go to fall. So it's more about the October events, realistically, especially because November 1st or November 2nd, right?
So for top dogs, so let me just flick back. Would it feel like a safe assumption if we said Falcons, Vitality, Spirit, Fury, and Na'Vi, those type of names, there's no way that they're going to go to a Fisher Playground?
The way I heard it was that effectively all the teams that are not in Star Series are going to go to Fisher.
Okay, so the teams who are in Star Series,
like, you also have to remember Falcons are massive in China, so for them to have any sort of a chance to play there is probably going to be good for the organization, for the players, right? So that's actually one team that will probably be quite heavily incentivized to go there, even if it's, let's say a secondary TO a bit dodgy, whether they're going to get paid for it or not, considering the history, But I have heard that a lot of those top teams were looking to attend one or the other. And so who you don't see on the Fisher, on the Starladder one, you will probably end up going to Fisher.
Just for people who are our audio only listeners, thank you for playing, but you can't see this. So the teams who are going to Star Series are Vitality, Furia, Na'Vi, Aurora, MOUZ, MIBR, Magic, and NRG. 3 of those 8 names qualified based off of qualifiers.
Yeah, so if you go back to the previous one, if you look at Fisher, like the ones that aren't there, so that would be Falcon, Spirit. No, I mean the prediction.
This one.
Prediction.
Yes,
there
sorry.
You go. So that would be like Spirit, 9Z, Falcons, Legacy, I think is the next one, right? Bad Boom, G2 type thing. That's the sort of teams that I would expect. Still a good field. Yeah, very, very good field, I think we can expect, yeah.
Okay, so that's good. It's just going to be a bit more split. So because Starladder, is a smaller event, okay, so we've discussed that in the past. Cool. So there's the split there. But as we move forward, if you're a Vitality, are you going to EPL then, or are you preferring to go to Thunderpick?
But I think, don't they need to go to ESL events now because they already skipped a bunch?
How many events have Vitality skipped for ESL events?
I'm pretty sure they skipped the EPL before.
Yes, and that was it, right?
True.
Pretty sure that
they went to everything, but can they can only skip?
I don't think they can skip again.
Yeah.
I may be wrong on that, but I don't think they can skip again.
3 in 2 years.
Okay,
but it's one less because it's Cologne, no? Cologne was a major. There's that
I don't know how that exactly works.
It was the Spirit situation. Let's say Spirit, lose money, ESL, HLTV. Let's see.
True, you're right. Yes, but Spirit, you've brought up a good example. Spirit might not care about EPL then.
Yeah, I think it's a bit awkward now because you also have to see that there are only 2 big events that are going to happen before the cutoff, right? Which is Pro League and then it's Masters, and there's a pretty good gap between it unless you want to go to Thunderpick, right? I think Thunderpick is realistically going to be the 3rd in line for the teams that are considering this. Yes,
isn't it?
Of course.
Yeah.
But it's also only, how many is it invites?
8 teams.
It's but how many of those are invited? Is it all of them?
Great question. Let me double check. That wasn't.
I don't think it can be all of them because it's technically a tier 1 event, no?
It's 7 of 8.
Okay.
So just 1 closed qualifier spot.
Okay. So they will run a lot of teams in the closed qualifier.
I don't know why I didn't just click here. I had it right here.
Ah, there you go. So you'd probably expect that teams that will want to make as much of a push for the November 2nd cutoff is probably going to go to the two bigger ones, right? Which would be probably
EPL's the only arena one out of EPL, Thunderpick, and the Masters.
I think realistically, I would be surprised if not almost everybody went to Bucharest. I think anybody who doesn't go is suicidal because of the cutoff being straight after.
But Bucharest teams
we already know that,
picked,
right?
Yeah.
We already
so
know
Bucharest, we already know there's no Falcons in Bucharest, right? It's Vitality, Spirit, Furia, Na'Vi, 9Z, BetBoom, MOUZ
that
are in
even
there.
supports what I was saying with Falcons, right? They're probably going to be more incentivized to go to some of these other ones, which would be Fisher and then EPL for sure, and maybe even the Malta one. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised considering they're not at the final one before the cutoff. I think they're going to be in a position where they want to lock down the stage 3 invites.
Yeah, because this is where it gets messy as well, Prof. Like, let's say that you're playing Bucharest, right? But then you're about to go on an Asian tour. I don't think any team wants to get stuck in Asia like they did, like we saw with Vitality back in like Shanghai, for example, right? So for me, it feels like, do you go to Beijing if you're a top team because it's on the button, literally, of the major cutoff, so nothing that happens there matters. But if you're going to play Hong Kong, then you may as well be in Beijing. Play those two, and then if you're a stage 3 team, you go home for back 2 weeks, and then
2 weeks plus. Yeah.
So that feels kind of okay. But it
would be like for a lot of them, it would be a run of 3 events in a row, which is a lot.
It is a lot.
I couldn't, but yeah, with what Prof was saying about how much of it can they actually skip with Beijing? You know, for a lot of these teams, that they're probably going to be somewhere on the edge. So it's probably going to be the case. I mean, last time we also didn't see Hong Kong being that well attended.
That's true. But the thing is, they have to accept now this week. That's kind of the whole point of this, is like August 3rd is determining the rest of the season. Like where you're going to see your favorite teams, assuming they qualify for the major, is all going to come down to today. The only event that doesn't impact is the major, obviously, cutoff date November 2nd, and is going to be the Rivals event. So everything else is either getting locked in this week, and that's the rest of the season already. That feels so crazy. We just started, and like we're going to have everything decided 95% by the end of this week.
Yeah, and it's also, actually the better case compared to previous seasons, right? Because though that cutoff was a month earlier, now we actually have more of the events to use for the cutoff. But it is interesting, how it's been shifting, because it's always been a very, very packed first season, and then a little bit less so the second, because that amount of off days that you have listed on that calendar, I don't think you would find one of those in the first half of the season. And
I obviously included this stake event, and there are other tier 2 events. There's like a Logitech one that has something to do with, I think is it Isaac, right? The Polish guy. I saw him on the.
It was like a decent prize pool for that as well.
It's 100 grand.
Yeah.
So there's more tier 2 events like in the span for some of these teams to go to. So I guess the conversation is, if you're one of these teams who are on August 3rd, who were anywhere from like 12 to 20, there's a chance that you're getting the call up for some of these events. But based off what you're saying there, Striker, you don't expect too many teams to be skipping. I'll bring it back up. You don't expect too many teams to be skipping EPL.
No.
We know most of the names are at Bucharest. Thunder picks the wild card.
Like for EPL, you have to also think about the Grand Slam. Falcons have currently a win from Cologne, right?
True.
So they would probably be incentivized to go to EPL, maybe get a second there.
And especially considering they skipped Bucharest, I mean, that would be 2 big events in the last month that they would have skipped, which is that's very unlikely to me.
The cool thing is, with the conversation we're having right now, depending on how you guys want to expand it and look at certain teams, we will get to talk about this next episode, because all of these decisions will be made.
We can pick, maybe give us each a team, and we can say what we would do. I think that could be fun.
Okay, so Falcons, we were just saying, was a bit more of a visa thing. We went over Vitality a little bit as well. You
didn't really mention that, I think, but that is true for Kiyosuke's situation. He's been having trouble with the European visas, and it seems to be like China is not really an issue, and stuff outside of the EU. So it might be.
Well, I suppose that's why they basically were choosing between EPL and Bucharest, then most likely. Yeah, because otherwise they would have had to have like a separate visa for the Bucharest one, which is 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks later, right? So it would have been a pretty short timeline. So that might have played into that.
And also if you're going to Shanghai and you're going to Hong Kong right after that, skipping the first event to have like two events and then have a little break and then go into the major. It seems like playing Bucharest, China, I mean, and the two like China, Hong Kong events, I think that's bad. But I do expect 80% of the teams to say yes to everything.
Yeah. Well, what do you? Let me give you a team prop. Let me give you MOUZ, right? Because MOUZ are a team who are like in this rebuilding process. They've had this early success, but do you think they're just going to be a team who's like, let's attend everything? I'll show you again. So they are in Star Series. They are at Porto. They also are at Bucharest. So with those already in mind, they invited to everything else they want. They have pick of the litter.
I do presume they are skipping Fisher, then go to EPL, skip Thunderpick, and then do the rest of the season. I think that seems quite decent. You have like 1 week on, 1 week off kind of a schedule, even like 2 weeks off somewhere. I think that's like a really nice schedule for a team like them to be on. Like even the Thunderpick one might be, since it's just 4 days and quite a big of prize pool, might be something they want to go to. But I would say probably skip it just because you have like 3 weeks potentially coming up.
It might be 5 days. I think.
I mean,
it's 5 days, but yeah, I think I fucked something up there. But I added a day. But either way, and to go from Poland to Malta, there's direct flights from Katowice. I'm almost positive. So yeah, Striker, let me give you a team here. Who could be interesting? Spirit?
Aurora?
I was going to go Aurora or 9Z or something a little bit more, like less big picture.
Yeah, I mean, Aurora, I think, is also going to be in a position where they probably want to attend a lot.
They seem similar to MOUZ in that sense, right?
Yeah, so they're all at all these three events. Yeah, I would say that's going to be very similar. They're all at all these three tournaments. They're going to, we'll see if they're going to make it even into the Thunderpick one. Realistically, probably yes.
Legacy
I would be
surprised.
Surprised.
Everything.
Yes.
They have to.
They definitely have to. And I think... who were we just talking about?
Aurora, sorry.
There you go, Aurora. I think they're kind of in a similar place because of the new team and everything, that they're probably going to be incentivized to go to Fisher because they're not at Star Series, right? They are at Star Series. Okay, so then not Fisher and then EPL and potentially even Thunderpick, to be honest. I wouldn't be too surprised.
I think those teams, it makes, like, I like Prof's setting of that's like with the MOUZ one, you could do a similar thing as Aurora. Like you can go to as many as you can, and then the downtime you have, you get to evaluate, right? And you're on that ramp up. So you should be in good form. You're not going to be lacking events, and you get to choose your calendar if you're a top team. It's more for your phases or like Liquid trying to make a move in right now. Like, guys, just if you're a FaZe fan, I just want people to look at this. FaZe are not on here at all, right? FaZe are not in a... So unless teams turn down spots... You're not going to see FaZe again. They're going to have to play stake ranked. Wait, what are they now? 16?
No, I think they're 13. Yeah,
what is
13.
it? Then they could accept stake ranked 2, right? Because ranked 4 because it's 13 onwards.
It's 12.
Right?
Yeah, either 12 onwards or 13 onwards. I can't remember.
Either way, they're right on that cusp. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, this is us just speculating. But basically, my point is, if you're a fan of a certain team and you don't see it on the screenshot right now, there's a very good opportunity you won't see them at top tier events until Hong Kong, if something fucking insane happens, or the major.
It's kind of the 100 Thieves situation, right? Like they had a kind of a decent showing in online, but couldn't beat Spirit. And then that's kind of GG, since there's nothing really that they can play unless they make it through like some quali or something like that. So kind of another tough season. And it's just how much one good tournament or going to the XSC thing can change your whole season is crazy.
Yeah. Okay. I'm happy to put a bow on this. I just thought this was really interesting. When I was looking at the rankings and seeing so many events, which literally determines the entire or almost the entire rest of the season, I was like, this is an important day, right? We won't know until the fallout happens and we see what teams have decided to go to what events, but it's a big week for decision making in the Counter-Strike space as far as the rest of the year is concerned. So I'll stop sharing now and we'll move along into our next topic.
I think this is a cool thing to reflect on. Next episode, we can look back and see at least the ones that we have heard about already. I don't know if Fisher will announce that quickly, to be honest, but the other ones at least I would assume so.
For sure. Yeah. Well, you maybe not.
I wouldn't be surprised if they ran it today, to be honest. They're usually are really quick at even locking it down on the night, unless there's some question, like one team that's questionable. But I think they give them like that's deadline, right, by one to answer, and so it goes pretty quickly.
Yeah, okay. All right, guys, let me just try and catch up to where we're at right now. So we're going to move into the EWC portion of the show. That's the next event, well, in the Counter-Strike calendar. Other than Tier 2 stuff, there's Stake Pulse Beat 1, which is still, it's been going on for the last couple of days. But Liquid are playing against Nine, Fnatic are playing against EAC. There's some games going on there. And the reason I mentioned those names as well, when normally on the show we might gloss over them, is those type of names are the names that you can expect to be playing in this open qualifier that's coming up. So I wanted to start with a bit of a format reminder for everybody, because we've touched on this a lot. And I've just started, every time I flick on Twitter, I see, wow, stacked event, look at all these teams. And this is what we've been saying for some time. So there's an open LAN qualifier for this event. The fact that the event is in Paris now and not Saudi Arabia means we get a pretty decent attendance. It's locked now at 64 teams. It was 128 open, but everyone's confirmed that 64 teams is what they've got. So that boils down to 16 groups.
It's worked out incredibly well, to be honest. That's unbelievable.
It's worked out very nicely for them here. So you get 16 groups of 4 teams. These are double elimination, like GSL groups. All matches are best of 3. That's huge for an open LAN qualifier. I don't think people understand how important an open LAN qualifier with 64 teams is for the ecosystem right now. And you have to go back way in history to find some events of a yesteryear when Jason Moses O'Toole was playing, to be talking about like CPLs where you could talk of figures even close to this many teams on LAN. Or like a shitty BYOC where people who are normally PAL World players are playing Counter-Strike for something to do at a red flag for a $50 voucher, or they're sleeping in a... I'm going too much Australian law. But anyway, top 2 from each group go to the playoff bracket. 32-team playoff bracket, single elimination. Top 4 go to the main event. So this event is essentially, what's 28 plus 64? Someone do the maths. It's like 92?
Yes.
So 92 teams are competing at EWC over a week, over about 2 weeks of time, right? This open qualifier kicks off in 2 or 3 days. I think it's on Friday. And then the main event is 32 teams. You got 4 groups of 8. The only detracting point of the whole main format is the upper bracket games round 1, best of 1. But 4 teams from each group go to the playoffs. So it's not as bad as it feels like it could be. Anyway, the remainder of the bracket is best of 3.
Yeah, because usually on an ESL event it would be 3 teams going to the playoffs. Yeah,
it's a 16-team elimination playoff bracket. There's a third place decider and there's a best of 5 final. In the, what was it? What's the name of the arena? Accor Arena.
Accor Arena, yeah.
Yeah, the one that the Blast final was in. So there you go. That's the format refresher.
This is, I mean, just to, can we pull up the team list? I'll share it in the...
Yeah, so this is interesting. So I've done some work on this, Prof. I know you might have some stuff. I've done some work on this. So let me bring this up. This is the open qualifier list. If we want to start there, I'll share that right now. One moment.
It feels like the closest to, I would say, WSG. I feel like is the last decent tournament like this that had like so many teams from different countries playing at. But this is better in terms of competition because there's no like nationality rules and stuff like that.
So what you're seeing right now is the logos of any of the notable teams who are taking place in the open qualifier, right? You got Fnatic here, VP, Focus, Gentle Mates, Eyeballs, 100 Thieves, NRG. I could do them all. That would be pointless because I'd just be reading names. But there are a lot of teams in here who are within the top 100 of the VRS, a lot of names that have players that we know, right? Like I think K27, as much as people might not know the names of these guys, you will have seen them playing recently. K27 have been in a bunch of tournaments recently coming out of the break. Liquid on another rebuild. Fluxo's there. So there's a lot of names here, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for some great Counter-Strike and for teams to be able to spur up the VRS. What I want to do is is this going to work? Let me click this. Click that. Did that?
Need to share the other thing.
I have to share the other thing. So we're going to do a lot of scrolling with this next one because this is, I want to show people, this was from like Sunday night. So what I did on Sunday night, as I was just thinking of all this stuff, was I just did the list of the VRS teams in the top 100 at that snapshot of time when I was looking at based off what HLTV offers. So Spirit were number 1, Falcons number 2, MOUZ, 9Z, Vitality, Na'Vi, Legacy, Furia, Bet, Boom, Aurora, G2, Paravision, FaZe, Foot, the MongolZ, MIBR. Now, they're all green on the list because they're all going to be at EWC. Then the first teams that we get to in the VRS global ranking, who DNC I put did not contest, Alliance at 17, Tyloo at 18. And you can understand why they wouldn't go for the open portion because it's a...
But Tyloo's there. Tyloo's invited straight.
Oh, fuck, I fucked up. What team did are they? Didn't you have to qualify...
No, they're there.
Okay, they're there. Well, we can just change the color of that. It doesn't matter.
There was some regional invites, and they came through.
Lin
the
Vision
Asian
won that. That's right.
Yeah,
that's
Lin Vision won that, and Tyloo went. I had to double check because I was just going through the list as well.
We can fix this on the fly today. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah,
okay.
All good.
Then we've got Tyloo, Astralis, Bait. We've got Big in the last chance qualifier. We've got Gamer Legion. We've got Liquid at 23 in the VRS last chance qualifier. Magic are in the main event. Inner Circle in the last chance qualifier. Now, the difference between when I took the snapshot of the VRS versus when these teams get seeded for their groups, they use the July
is also
VRS. There. Did I miss them up? Fucking hell.
They're in the main one.
All right, well, it's fixed now. Don't tell anyone, Striker, okay? No one's watching. Nemesis, are they there?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. There you go. Eyeballers, LCQ, M80, Wildcard, FlyQuest are not there. They were signed up, but they're not going. They don't have a fifth. Hotu, K27, Ascend, Echo, 100 Thieves, Infinite, Focus, Gentlemates. These guys should be yellow, not green. Color coding, it's all wrong.
Need to do it automatically next time.
But
yeah, a lot of these are Russian teams, by the way, that didn't go.
X Ruby, for example, right? And they need invite letters.
I mean, Amiga, the Nuclear, Tigress.
Yeah, and we start getting down the list. The teams in the top 100. Here's BCG. They were at 84, 85, something along those lines. OG, Phantom, Basement Boys, Metasport, Eternal Fire there. I said I kind of like that roster. Astral. They have
Phantom is there too, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's not that Phantom.
So this Phantom is a double of the Phantom. There's another Phantom up here, but this was just at that point, right? So there's multiple of these like cores that were there that have multiple things. So yeah, the point that I'm showing here is I think it's about 60% of the VRS top 100 from Sunday night at this event.
Yep.
Right? 60%. Obviously, some of them are made up of local teams or teams that aren't as high up in the VRS, but it's I don't know how else to put it, but it's stacked. Like it's absolute. This event is stacked. It couldn't be more stacked.
It's the biggest thing we've ever seen, really. I don't think there's anything comparable, but at least before my time, for sure. Like I can't remember anything of anywhere near this scale.
Is there a list of the teams with the players signed up? Because like on HLTV, we have obviously the teams that we have, and a bunch of the teams are like don't really have a roster. Like I saw like level one, like a Macedonian, North Macedonian lineup. Yeah.
I'd be curious to see if any of these mixes are like good players or whatever. I think that's what you mean, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's also like, I think like Jax was tweeting, here we go. I actually just received it from a source. Public, it says. Okay. Oh, fuck. This is a huge sheet.
You want to look at the rosters?
I'm not going to go through everything. This is a bit, it's huge.
Is this the public Counter-Strike 2 like
LCQ tournament overview? Yeah.
So then it's got all the rosters. So who did you want to know?
I was just curious, honestly, about this. Oh, there I see Synopsy here. What is this GG How?
Oh, they're in the
He's in GG How. Eternal Fire, obviously. I need to go towards the bottom to see if there's anything that's interesting. That is not really a lineup that we know by the name. But there's a lot of. This is
the thing. There's a lot of like Ascend, for example, or Hotu, or right. Like there's a bunch of names in here.
There's a Croatian player at this team called OW. He has a Croatian player in, and then like 4 other guys I never heard of, which is nice.
But even like Infinite, people might not know of the team, but people know Slen, they know Volt, they know Kriaz, right? Those are the names in that roster. These are names that people should have at least some understanding
is
of.
Playing.
Who's he playing for?
Amanek ZZ is the lineup. Okay. With a bunch of Frenchies, it seems like, based on the names. Static 2K. Not really some like huge names right now. Anything else?
There's nothing too crazy here.
Yeah, but it's again. I think what I was trying to compare this to was like WSG, like the European one that had like I went back to check. It had 20 teams, including like
the one that ships one.
Godsend, Fnatic.
Like the European part of it, like the whatever qualifying part.
Yeah, that had like 4 groups of 5 teams, like some round robin into like a playoff and everything, and that felt insane to be at just physically, because you had like here's like Pasha and these guys playing, then over here is like Crim's playing, and it's all just like a huge area of like really good players, because usually you go, the closest to this is some like BYOC at DreamHack with the amount of teams, right? But the quality is so much lower that like there's not that feeling of like the quality being just like merged into a small area. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting experience for people to witness for sure.
You're going to cover it, right, Striker?
Yeah, me and Luis are going there actually together, and we don't generally cover tournaments in 2 people, but this felt like it was necessary.
Sure. Yeah,
it's gonna be crazy those first 3 days, especially. I think after that it's gonna start feeling a little bit more normal, even though it's still gonna be 32 teams. You know, it's still gonna be bigger than most of the tournaments we will have ever attended, especially at the same time. You know, because we go to majors, but that's 16 first, and then 8 come in later in a few days, and then 8 come in later in a few days. So like it's gonna be intense. I'm all here for it though, because it's something we've never seen before. And I'm just curious about what that hall or whatever is going to be, like that BYOC part of, not BYOC part of it. It's actually not BYOC, the open part of it. It's like you're just going to keep walking past rows and rows of people and like that you can follow, and then you actually want to follow, that you're interested in how they're going to do at this tournament. And it's going to go so fast, because in 3 days you're going to go from 64 to 4 teams, which is insane. That's a crazy speed to exclude teams, So it's
going to be long days.
It's going to be crazy days. It's going to be long days. I bet it's going to be chaotic as fuck, even though a lot of the people behind this are obviously very experienced. But even these people have never done anything like this. I can promise you, not at this scale. So I presume there's going to be a fair amount of issues as well to go along with it. So I'm curious. I'm really curious about how this is going to turn out.
I think that. Right, to see that many matches played, I don't know how EWC plan on covering it. I'm not there, but I know there's a couple of other guys. There's 4 guys who are going out for it, but there's so many games, you're obviously not going to be able to cover all of them. I can say that there will be CSTV IPs available for all the matches, but I don't know what the rules will be on streaming those games. So you will be able to watch in CSTV IP on your own, but I don't know. I don't have any confirmation or information yet on what the streaming rights would be for stuff like that. But I will say that if they do let me stream it, I might stream some of the games, because there's so many fucking matches. And the fact that you have teams like Liquid and BCG, Heroic, right, as some of the teams that are in this qualifier, there's going to be some big ticket games to be watching. Do we want to bring up the groups? Because as I mentioned, the seeding was done based off of the July VRS. So it's slightly different from the VRS
interesting
snapshot.
To look at like who has, if there's any groups that don't really have like a easy path to the playoffs.
Sure.
I think that's where
like one, basically.
I'll just share it.
It doesn't have like 2 obvious names that are going to go through.
Too much scrolling and shit. How's that, Lucas? That look all right? Give me the heads up if it's looking okay. Yeah, you're good, man. I know. Lots of moving parts. I'm never in too much of a hurry around here. But okay, so we can take a look at these groups. Okay, you good? Whack it in. So Inner Circle, based off of the July VRS, they were the highest ranked VRS team for this, right? They're in the group with Astral, which is like the GXX team I was talking about before.
Regin.
Yeah, coaching. Meow Pop, what a name. So Group A is not very exciting. I'll be honest. Group A is like Inner Circle. We know these names. Your Head Tricks, your Zero Fixes, your Captain Kirkers. We love him, but not super excited about Group A. But I would expect Inner Circle and Astral to make it into the playoffs, quote unquote. Big Fluxo and Dusty.
Iceland.
Yeah, someone's got to do it.
It's always like this team
One
name showing
team,
up. Yeah, with the Icelandic flag, even though they probably like don't have any of the players I ever watched, but like
and 4 players.
Every time there's something like this, these guys are there, which is cool.
Look at these last names, fucking insane. So Group B, Big and Flux, you'd expect to go through. Group C, this is Sharks, Dendele, EAC, and Saw. Now this sucks for Saw because they kind of just became a team. And this sucks for Group C because EAC, there's been some conversation about Professeur coming back recently, having some good numbers. I'm sure people will be familiar with maybe Nixon as a name. The rest, maybe not so much, unless your name's Lucas and you're in the team speak with us right now. So this group is a little bit more, I would say, tough, harder to call.
Yeah, for sure.
Group D, HOTU and Gen 1.
Then 2 unnamed teams, like on...
no
on-roster
profiles.
teams on HLTV, yeah.
Group E has Infinite, I was talking about before, and BetClick, who has, your demos, your prisms, clockers.
It used to be KDs, but not anymore, seems like.
I don't know. We could check what their roster is for that been signed up with. Group F looks kind of tough. One win, we were just talking about them, TDK. Basement Boys, who love having an upset in events like this. And then you've got BCG in there and Citron, who have a page, but no players.
They played a match like just recently, so maybe you can look at
I can tell you the names are no one you've heard of.
Yeah.
Okay, but even still...
is on this team.
Oh, for this? No, not for this.
It's not in he's not signed up. He was in the match, like literally whatever.
I don't
2
think
weeks.
he can play if he's a Vitality player. They have some other 5 players.
I wouldn't be able to.
Satan,
I mean,
Satan 35. I mean, I guess he could, but
he can for sure.
Just quick question. Sorry to sidebar. Arata in chat said, "Will EWC Open Qualify have full coverage on HTV?" It will, right? Because you're going to be there.
I mean, in that sense, yes, for sure. Whether it's all going to be on matches, I mean, as recently as I heard it, very likely, yes. Because originally it was potentially going to be even bigger than this, and realistically, it would have been too big. It would have been too many matches at the same time. This seems manageable, but not 100% confirmed at the moment. But just that's the last I heard of it.
Okay, and the reason that's important, everybody, is because it's for VRS implications. So they'll be fine. They can work it out. Striker will just have to work hard. Normally he's slacking, so he might have to work hard for once. We'll work it out. Okay.
Do some work for once in my life.
So Group F is looking like the scariest group at the moment.
That's really rough for BC Game, because those 2 teams are objectively pretty decent. Like one.
But that's also teams they
boys.
can actually take some points off of because they do have a little bit of a head start. So it's also kind of an opportunity.
I do feel like it's a real test. Like that's exactly where they should be tested next after their little Finnish excursion they had.
Yep. Group G, Heroic 9. We'll just go with Heroic and 9.
I will look at the teams that are missing teams. ABT,
doesn't have a page.
Yeah, or seems to be Portuguese lineup, but nothing recognizable there.
Just a fun one about Rounds, everybody. This is for our viewers, less you guys. He played at the very first major and then disappeared forever. And then he's been back for the last 3 or 4 years doing his best.
Yep.
Giving it a good go. Barry,
back.
they're coaching, so that's nice. General Mates, I think they're going to be going as Iberian Soul, just based off of that document we were just looking at. They have Crucial standing in. Fnatic there. Fnatic need to get some groundswell going, right? They get Ken from NIP. They're bringing this MOUZ kid. So hopefully there's something to start getting excited about there because that's been a doomed project for a while. Group I, Echo. This is the Iceberg team. He always has a plucky team, does Iceberg. He loves a good yell. Iceberg, Salad Bar. A couple of names I haven't heard of.
Nikki B. These are
these are all Lucas's mates, bro.
Top Danish, Power League and veterans, let's say.
You hope OG at least can make it to they should be able, really, or maybe not.
They had
is this a Ukrainian team? Passion Chica?
What? I can't write. It is. I don't have. It seems to be Spanish or something like this. Cartozo Di Roberto. No, that's not Spanish.
Okay.
Who the fuck?
Well, it's all good. Eyeballers with the same group as Phantom. So that's where Nikodos is at the moment. We got the Key and Kyler duo still going. They had Kunai stand in for Sejar the last time I remember we were talking about them. Level 1 was the one Prof was just talking about. 100 Thieves in the same group as Eternal Fire. I was talking about this Eternal Fire roster when Bro joined a couple weeks ago, so I'm excited to see how they go. Liquid is in Group L with Metasport, which has Stanislaw and Fiku and Mail09. I know a lot of people are Mail09 fans out there. Prestige, which has Fates, the Estonian player who's
still
traveled around the world. And whoever the fuck Dala are. Surely Liquid get out of this. Surely. I'm not even concerned.
They have to, yeah.
We got 4 more groups, everybody. Focus and Sashi in a group with Partisan. How many games of Partisan winning, boys? This is This is a team that we always see floating about, don't we? But not too much ever really happens.
But this is
with
like
Partisan.
a different version of Partisan, at least, especially like compared to those times as well. So that was used to be like full Serbian team, I think, in the past. Now it's like more of a Balkan mix.
Yeah, and a lot
I
of
don't
like
even know any of
newer
these people.
names. Yeah, a lot of new names.
Okay, that's good. Sashi has Acor in there. And obviously Focus. We saw them recently with Yokab and Potty coming in.
Yeah, Focus should definitely be a team like getting into playoffs, trying to make it to one of the 4 spots.
Well, we can just cover off these last couple of groups. So it's Ascend NRG.
There's a team called Van Dalken.
Pretty good.
That's fantastic.
Big Twistzz fans. Group O, K27 and Sinners. They're the headlines. And then Group P is Virtus Pro, Gigi Hao, which has Sasanito and Synopsy in there, and Sangal, the most well-known names in there. Joey was in the MOUZ Academy team for a while.
Yeah.
Adam S, we've seen him with a couple of different stints in different
he used
teams.
to be on the Spanish teams. Yeah.
Yes, because he's Romanian but speaks Espanol. And Beanox, we've seen beating around the bush too a couple of times. So, okay. So that's the groups. But I think, Prof, you were taking
how many
us...
teams, how many recognizable teams are on this? That's really so sick.
It's great, right? So, that should have been a look at the field. But this is where it kind of takes us to the key part of it. We haven't spoken even about the main event. We've really been focused just on the closed open qualifier, excuse me. Of all those names we just went over, should we do the what are the odds? Because we're gonna have the conversation now about determining the 4 teams who are going to make it through. So let's see if when I sent this to Lucas, I made sense. I fucked up the spreadsheet. I need to start double checking. I do things that I like. Yeah, it's right. I got to start doing the double check. The double check's always pretty good. Okay, so this is what are the odds brought to you by Stake. Remember to gamble responsibly. 2 of the top 6 VRS ranked teams in the last chance qualifier or open qualifier qualify for the main event. So 2 of the top 6. Now, do we want to use the July ranking or do we want to use the most recent?
Is it that different?
Whatever you have handy.
It's
just give me
decently different. Let's use just the most recent. I'll literally go and just look at it right now. We'll just use the current VRS ranking as of right now. So the highest ranked team that we have in the open qualifier is, I think it's Big. Big at number 21. Then it is Liquid at 23. Inner Circle at 24.
Liquid, Inner Circle.
Dendelay at 28. Heroic at 31. How many is that? Is that 5?
That's 5.
And then Virtus Pro at 35.
Oof.
Oh, wait, no, Eyeballers. Sorry, Eyeballers at 33. Eyeballers at 33. So read those names back to me, Prof. Who we got?
Big, Liquid, Inner Circle, Dendelay, Heroic, Eyeballers.
Big, Liquid. Okay, so 2 of the top 6, 2 of those 6 names qualify for the main event. Just 2 of those names have to qualify.
Okay, I would say it's not a high probability.
I think 64% is slightly delusional, I think.
I think it's like, I think Liquid has a really decent chance. Heroic.
Heroic, Big, Liquid is the ones maybe then Delay. You would think that they're going to be up there for sure.
But wouldn't
there
expect
are so many
Circle.
fucking people that can trip them up. Like, I feel like... So how many matches? Well, you have to get through...
You have to win 5 games, right? So you have to win
after the groups, you mean?
So the groups is 2 games. They have to win 2 best of 3s, right? To qualify for the... And then it would just be 3 games, right?
Yeah, yes.
So you have to win 5
so
best
you
of 3s.
get up to 16 to 8 to 4. So that's 3 games. You play out the whole thing, but to qualify...
How is the seeding going to work for the playoffs?
I guess based on where you come from the group. Are you first or second in your group, right?
But like, is it going to also be like seeded by...
Can be randomized, surely.
But if this is random, you might just get, after the first game, you can get one of the best teams against you anyway.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't ask that question. That's a good question.
I feel like it's got to be in some way at least multi-seeded, not...
Okay, since it's only 5 games, I would give it like a 20%.
Wow, okay.
Okay.
Look, there's so many opportunities, like you're saying, Striker, for teams to trip up. I don't disagree. But I'm hoping that we're going to see... What is so great about this event is we get these teams on land playing against each other. Most of the time, this caliber of team, and I'm not talking about a Liquid, I'm talking about, the less known names. We only ever really see them fighting out online against each other. Very rarely it comes to a land event, maybe some tier 2 stuff, but even then there's so many names and so many events. So this is hopefully going to be the cream, like rising to the top here. So I think that my angle was looking at the team list and saying which 4, 6, 8 teams do I have the most faith in qualifying, and then kind of going from there. And I think that Liquid should be good enough to qualify for the next stage of play, but I could be very, very wrong, and it's also going to depend on how this bracket comes out. So it's leaning me to be a little bit more negative than I wanted to be. I kind of wanted to go in pretty hard here with that list, but I don't have any faith in. I'll be honest. Once I watched Eyeballers play Cash against FaZe, I went, do Eyeballers even know how to play mid-round Counter-Strike? I understand Cash had just come in the pool, and but it made me question like that. I was like, what's going on? They were just doing set pieces all the time, or like pops and stuff. So
you also think of the teams like outside of this top 6 is like 100 Thieves, NRG,
BCG.
Focus, BCG. Like these are all pretty decent teams, probably better than half the teams in the top 6. So, you know, what's the number you're giving us?
I think Heroic will make it, right? I think Heroic should have the grit to make it with the players they've had and how active they've been. And the 3 guys who have been joined by Martinez and Brolin, well, Martinez is also used to this level of play. It's kind of Brolin who's going to have to drop it down a level, right? And he's already been doing that in recent time. I think Heroic make it. I think Liquid make it. Fuck it. Let's go. 65%. Let's go.
Jesus.
Let's go. I'm backing them both. Liquid, Heroic. You can do it.
I like Heroic a lot as well. I think they will go through. What was the other? So Heroic, Big, Liquid, Dendele, Inner Circle. What was the last one?
Eyeballers.
Eyeballers is not making it through. I don't think Inner Circle is making it through. I think it's down to 2 of the top 4. I'm not so sold on Dendele either. I know that they've had decent results.
Good results recently, yeah.
Yeah, because they beat Furia, right? And they were pretty competitive against FaZe as well. But historically they haven't been that competitive, and they could easily be one of the teams that just like goes out to some whatever top 100 team. We also have to remember there's BC Game, who's like, you know, pretty good potential to beat any of these teams, I would say. So like there's a lot of people that can trip them up. I think realistic chances are like 10%.
Fuck. Damn. Okay.
Math striker strikes again.
Fuck it. I didn't think I was that aggressive with a 65%, but maybe it is. I just think there's so many variables we can't measure at the moment.
It really depends on who meets who and how things go.
Like, that's what I mean. Like there could be so many matchups where these guys just meet each other, you know. Or
but I can also see a world where like Liquid and Heroic just have a really easy run.
Yeah.
Like if they don't meet any one of these, like I would say 10, 15 teams that are like really dangerous, and they get like 2, 3, like 3 no-namers, let's say, like not real teams, and then like play against whatever the 70th ranked team, like a Sengal or whatever, and you're always just like
so about half of the field. I was going through like the notable names, and about half of the field are real teams that are like, you know, let's say even Chad was talking about, right? Like 60, most of the top 60 is in here, right? So like realistically, first round of the playoffs, you're already going to meet somebody good, and even in group, you're already going to meet somebody good. One of the matches, right? So there's a chance even you go from second place instead of first in some of these occasions, right? So I think there's really a lot there's a lot of teams that can just beat each other. I think even if, you know, those let's say top 4 I was talking about.
It's a great opportunity for so many names, so many teams here. It's a great opportunity to like surge up the VRS, to like really get some big wins and show that you're like better than the rest of the field. That is, it's kind of like Counter-Strike. At least the way we focus on this show is like an iceberg, right? We only talk about the stuff at the top. We don't talk about the things that people can see.
This is legitimately Valve's wet dream in terms of data for the VRS. There's nothing
Put that on
better
a poster.
than this. It is
Put
LAN.
it on a poster.
It is LAN. It is a lot of the teams that are ranked close to each other. It's like you get tested against teams that are both far above you, far below you, and on your level. Like this is like perfect data for the VRS. Like if we had every tournament like this, the VRS would be fucking amazing because it would have such good data coming into it. So this tournament will just tell you a lot.
Yeah, I think people, right, I feel like we've been trying to make a big deal about it, but obviously, right, there's a large contingent who aren't happy with, you know, EWC ownership, etc. But as far as a Counter-Strike event goes, there's nothing like this that exists. And it's great that we have such a large opportunity to, as Striker saying, collect not only this data, but just to have the chance for teams to play. Because there was a point there until last year where the VRS changed. But before that, we could have just had every TO running 16 team events with the exact same 16 teams and no qualifiers. And then Valve went, oh, that's a problem. And now they pushed it to 20, so they have to do some online qualifiers. But remember, that was such a big conversation last year, and we have something like this.
I mean, I have some important information to mention from our great friend of the show, Messioso.
Okay,
he says playoffs are random seed. So essentially, you just can't play, you know, as number one, you can't play number two from your own group. Which makes sense, but everything outside of that is random. And after that, there's no like, you know, let's say on one part of the bracket, this is the highest seed, and then they are not going to play, you know, the whatever. Let's say who would be the top. You say Inner Circle against Liquid can play the second game of the playoffs, essentially. So
okay,
so breaking news: we will feature the entire EWC qualifier. Literally, just was told that now.
There you go.
That's fantastic.
So all the matches are going to be on HLTV. Everybody who's going to be co-streaming can be on there, and blah blah blah.
Well, if they're allowed to co-stream, we'll find out.
It's going to be a busy.
Surely they must be.
We'll find out. I asked earlier today. I know that there will be IPs. I don't know anything about co-streaming. I don't know anything about.
If there's going to be IPs, it's going to be relatively open. You know, it's got to be.
Let's hope so.
I'm just looking for, you know, some breakout there. I think with the random aspect to it, there must be some like super unknown team or player that's going to have a deep run, maybe even qualify. Who knows for the main thing, and that's going to be that's always exciting to follow.
Lucas, I'm sharing my screen again. Can you bring this up and like kind of shape it? I'm sorry, it's like long and really far away and stuff. But again, it's for the viewer. If we take a look at the 28 teams who are in the main event. So just so everyone's aware, this is a $2 million prize pool. We spoke about the format before. You can see here all the teams. So we need to find these 4 teams down the bottom. Which 4 teams, if you guys had to pick, would you want to be in the top 32 to give us the most competitive event? BCG is a guaranteed spot. I won't take any BCG slander here. Simple in the main event, potentially in a group against like, you know, some of these massive names. Let's get him there, all right? I don't want to hear it, Prof. I want him there.
I'm fine.
I will. That?
But then I pick the next one. Then
you can pick the next one.
I mean, obviously you want Liquid there. That's a given.
Fair.
But so that's for everyone's pick. My pick would be probably 100 Thieves.
Ooh.
But I want to say Focus because no one's gonna pick Focus. I would like to see Focus in the main thing.
You went with BC Game, Chad, or?
Yeah, I would like BC Game to be there.
So who we want to go through, not who we think will go through.
Yeah, like who do we think would make it the most stacked tournament? I think BCG would make it stacked.
It's probably Liquid, 100 Thieves, Heroic.
Yes. Well, I don't know about 100 Thieves necessarily. I mean, BC, I think over 100 Thieves.
Prof just got info for Graham, so he's being nice. Who would you want, Striker?
I like BC a lot, but since you picked them, I think it's got to be Heroic. I like the new Heroic. I like the new Heroic a lot. I'm not sure if they will make it, but I would like to see them through. I think they are probably like the top 2 best team in the whole qualifier.
Yeah, it's like wildcard being there is whatever, but obviously this was by the VRS at the time, and they had this period where they were the top US team earlier in the year, right? With the VRS. Lin Vision ended up winning that Hero qualifier. FlyQuest went to that, but they absolutely fucking bottled it. Tyler get through on an auto invite because of global VRS. Oh no, it's Asia VRS, excuse me.
Yeah.
M80, the North American VRS.
Magic had the Astana run, so they got in.
Luminosity there off of Monty's major performance.
Yeah.
Legacy the rest is South American.
Yeah, top
invite.
teams. Bedboom had the not Astana,
major.
Atlanta in the major. Yeah. So overall, extremely stacked tournament.
Someone in chat just said one winner a dark horse. That would be nice based on how I've been banging on about them. There's a team with some fun players.
They could take off. At least they could eliminate one of these teams that we were just listing. If nothing else, they might not make it through, but they will be dangerous.
So yeah, I think like adding a couple, like, you know, if we get Liquid, I'm there. If we get BCG is one that I just want because I think having Simple's name in an event like this, and he always levels up when he knows he's playing against good players. You know, he's like he's straight in his chair. He's taking it a bit more serious. It's not just like a pug. It's fucking real Counter-Strike. So from that angle, I'd like to see it. In terms of the overall event, though, I think we're still going in with the same concept, gentlemen. Falcon, Spirit, and Oh, Striker, let me just message. Prof, can you do some filling right now?
Yeah. Just dropped it on me like this.
Sorry, I wanted to confer with Striker here.
Yes, okay, that's good. I mean, well, I'm filling. First of all, we have a new YouTube video called Scream and Config Talk, All Things CS. I think it's a good one. Didn't get to watch it yet, but what I did see was amazing. And also, please subscribe to the newsletter that Striker is working on very hard, and let us know what you think about it. That's some of the main stuff that I'm thinking about right now. And also, if you have any good skills you want to work at HLTV, you can always email me. That's graphics, videos. We're hiring some people. I think that's already in the final stages. But
But you only get €500 a month.
Yeah. And you need to pay your own taxes on top of
It's
that.
Prof's old money. Okay, so how do we do it then, Striker? Do we just pretend like we can include this team in the field and then just be like, yeah, they're still one of the top teams, or do we not do that, or do we just fucking end the show?
I don't know if we need to talk about who's going to win it. To be honest, it's like
fair enough.
It's such a
leaving us on.
I'm here for the chaos.
No,
I'm here for whatever's going to happen.
After the Aurora shit, bro, fuck it all. I'm not saying anything I hear anymore. Fuck it all, bro.
I know.
I'll
quick
keep it
turnaround
inside.
from you, Chad. Quick turnaround from Mr. fucking Chad.
I'll leak
I will
everything.
say anything.
I'm not saying anything.
I will say anything you message me as if you told me to say this on the stream.
I did say
Burchill.
that. No one's messaged me to tell me to say anything on the stream. So that option's still open. Also, if anyone messaged me on Twitter, don't do that because I'm not going to see it. So I don't know how to message me. Yeah, email me. Send me an email. I'm not sure what else to do.
Chad@valvecorporation.com.
Not sure what else to do. Okay, so you're right. We don't need to talk about.
I mean, we should talk a bit about the expectations. We should talk a bit about the expectations, just overall.
But I don't think we've learned anything early into this season, to be honest, to make any sort of a real prediction, though, because yes, we will have a decent idea of what the top dogs are going to be, but which one of them is really going to win? When Falcons just played one game and lost, Furia just played one game and lost, Vitality just played one game and lost.
You got to go
played
with
one legitimate game and lost.
Navi, you got to go with the guts,
Guys,
Navi didn't even play. MOUZ, okay, won the tournament. Fair enough. MOUZ, we can have a reasonable idea of how they're playing. Okay.
Just quickly, Striker. Rumor, Osni, Twitter, JL might join 100 Thieves via Flick News. Can we talk about it now?
Who's Flick News?
I am just actually trying to continue to mislead the public. I don't know who Flick News are.
ChatGPT. Who is Flick News?
I've got no idea who it is. I saw that, but that is not what I understand of the JL situation. But it doesn't mean that that's not true. It means that is not the information that I have. But that information could still be true. Right? It's yeah.
I think you confused Messioso with this.
I confused myself. Is Graham in the chat?
He's in my DMs asking what the fuck is Chad yapping about, pretty much.
I'm pretty sure JL's not joining 100 Thieves, but Graham is. Ask him right now. Graham, is JL joining 100 Thieves?
But
I'm pretty sure it's not. It's not the information I have.
It doesn't really matter when you say that, so that's it's also valid. My gut feeling.
No, it's nice, Lucas. He's doing robot. He's doing some robot stuff right now. It's not the dance, but it's the voice. Prof, you're lagging real bad, man.
Missy also started the DDoS. He doesn't want the info to come out.
Graham, wait, you're moving. Go now.
Hello?
Yeah, you're back.
I'm still a bit weird.
Your voice just got deeper somehow. I don't know if what just happened there.
I went through second puberty. No, I think for me, just one team, I think will do good. Is Falcons, the best team in the world. It's just how a feeling.
Glad we did these expectations.
I just have a feeling.
Oh shit!
Vibes-based analysis.
No, I think
that's the best kind.
I think if we were to just do it generally, for a Falcons Spirit or a Vitality not to make the top 16 playoff bracket would be a calamity, right? For a team like Aurora and MOUZ and Na'Vi, they still should make the top 16, but if they just miss out because of an upset loss to a plucky fucking Foot or something, All right, so be it. G2 another
Realistically, though, like all these teams should be easily making
a little
easily
pair
making
vision
it, not
bounce
even
back. That's also what I'm banking on.
Flit. I'm
with
excited to
coming
see
in.
Flit on this team. Yeah, I'm curious how.
I think
if this
like
is gonna level up.
a solid top 8 is coming. For
How's
pair
PR
vision.
going to play after dropping a trophy on his head that weighed like 25 kilos or some shit?
It is funny when you see these teams that haven't lifted trophies.
Yeah, but that one is
Struggle to
really
lift
heavy.
trophies.
Blast went the other way, right? They went from like having the one at the major that was just like the Dorito to now like their trophies are fucking heavy as fuck.
But you can just see like the grip is just wrong instantly. Like there's no way you're gonna lift it when you grab it like in a certain way, and it is tricky. It's something.
They did lift it,
And
and
then he
lifting
dropped
it wasn't the problem. The lifting part wasn't the problem.
What goes up must come down.
Yes,
So,
gravity
poor
was
guy.
the problem.
And he lifts too. Like he's not a he's
Bro,
a
like,
gym
the picture
kid.
I was looking, he's pretty buff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope he's doing all right. I hope it didn't hurt
That's
him
what
too
I'm saying.
badly. I
It's
saw
not,
it.
it's not about the size; it's the technique.
Fair. And he fucked up the technique big time. Do we
That's
really
more
have
respect for Nico.
much else going on? I think we kind of did it all.
No, we have. It's been quiet. I have to say, like we haven't brought some like crazy stuff, but nothing really has been going on. I think the shows will get more exciting moving forward.
I'm doing what I can, Prof. I'm building things. I'm making things. You know, I'm
This was
trying to
great.
keep the
This
people
was a good way
engaged.
to do
man.
it.
Yeah,
Trying to keep them engaged.
I'll bring a higher game to the next tournament.
Oh, Chad, the one thing we didn't talk about. Did you look at the new update today?
The Counter-Strike update?
Yes. There's only one line of it that's potentially interesting, but I have no idea what it means because I just reread it again and I realized there was actually something that I should have checked.
Which one?
It says that there's been a boost removed outside A.
Oh yeah. So
On which
one is
map?
that?
what was it? Not
Cash.
Kojo. There was another guy, another like American streamer, Counter-Strike guy. Essentially,
Austin.
nah, not him. I know that guy. Don't know this guy. I do know this guy. Like if I saw a picture of him, I'd be like, yeah, it's that guy. But I don't remember his name right now. I saw some videos of him. He was doing this boost. So you jump off the barrel and you could get on the boost yourself. So there was like a clipping or something that they were abusing to self.
As in like the boost above main or?
No, just a classic boost.
The normal boost, like to fight mid.
The
the
normal
barrel
piece.
out, yeah.
Okay.
So
No,
you
I
would
saw
jump
that,
off
but
the
do you think
barrel.
that's it?
Well, I think that would be it.
Okay. It's possible. I'm just curious, like what's actually called outside A in the actual game. But that would make sense.
I would assume
make
it was
sense.
that would be it because that was the thing that was egregious. Obviously, Loxar was putting the grenades that could be thrown through the wall if you were like jumping and crouching and there was a ceiling. But I would imagine that would be it.
Makes sense.
If I was going to be honest, I think that would be it. But I didn't actually go and check it myself. I'll call for it, Lucas, just as we're about. Oh, Prof put it there too. Yeah, so I think that was probably it. I'm not 100%, but maybe someone in chat could confirm. No, they didn't get rid of the mid boost. There was something before that was like a clipping that you could jump on that wasn't actually there. So you would jump from the barrel and then you'd be riding the wall on your left, which would be the midway house, and you could clip on something there, and then you could just continue to jump onto the
essentially
boost. So you can
self boost.
Yes. So
Solo boost.
that was the one. Okay. Are we done? Everyone happy? Okay,
2
guys.
hours on the dot.
This has been an episode of HLTV Confirmed. One to remember, guys, if you're thinking, what does Chad do with these days? It's PowerPoint documents. And I got to double check them next week. Maybe I'll double check. We'll see. There's one thing we're going to leave you with. I want to thank the sponsors just quickly. Thanks to Stake. Remember to gamble responsibly. And skins.com, peer-to-peer, no fees. Check them out if you need some skins. Lucas is going to bring up a tweet and we're going to leave. So goodbye, everybody. Bye. Goodbye. Guys, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
We're leaving, guys.
Goodbye.
Do with that tweet what you will, guys. Goodbye, everyone.
The biggest news roundup, exclusive insights, all delivered to your inbox. Sign up to the HLTV newsletter today.
Today's HLTV Confirmed episode is brought to you by Skins.com. Skins.com has 0% transaction fees, plus a dedicated instant sell feature when you need cash fast. To start trading, just click login, sign in using your preferred method, and sift through the 50,000 plus skins already listed. Not to mention multiple deposit methods including crypto, bank transfer, Apple Pay, and many more. A profitable trade is merely a few clicks away.